Early? Early stream. Hey, robbed of 12 minutes of starting soon screen. What the hell? Fuck this broadcast. I'm never coming here ever again. Damn you. Dude, Mayor Cat knows. I am convinced now. I'm convinced that he knows the second that I'm actually gonna like get on cam, because then he starts meowing immediately right before then. He'll be totally chill, and then he starts meowing before then. I'm kind of still into frame so you guys can see what he does. I'll do that another time. Anyways. Good morning, everyone. Hi. I hope you guys are all had a great Sunday fun day. It is another great day in Witchland, in LA, in chat. And we have a lot of stuff to get to. Meow. All right, it's good. We're good. He's gonna stop any second now. But we have a lot of stuff to get to. Oh man, I don't mean to alarm anyone in here, but there was in fact a hello mirror. There was in fact a shooting at the White House Correspondents dinner. A little oopsie, and I'm happy to say, guys, we have officially entered the timeline where everything immediately always signals a false flag to literally everyone. Did you see the CNN reaction? So annoying, bro. Can you guys hold this for me? Can you guys hold this for me? I must warn you all. He's a wild worm. He's very wild. All right. Oh, is he a silly boy today? Yeah, sometimes he sits on the wheel, the big cat wheel, and then he meows for encouragement to run on it. Then I have to go, go, and then he runs on it. And sometimes he'll just sit there and meow until I do that for him. Like, but how am I supposed to run on it if you don't tell me to go? He needs validation, honestly. Me too, Mayor Cat. Me too. You scamper off. All right, anyways. Moving on from that nonsense. We're gonna talk about that stuff, all right? I like that we didn't even skip a single beat, and every single conservative is already on the this is why we have to build this ballroom. Why? This is why we have to build the ballroom. Huh? What? It already got ruled illegal, but did you consider that there were shots fired? Also, the Trump press hearing, or whatever you want to call it, was insane. It was I want to get to that as well. Shooting shows incompetence of American security. They open fire in a crowded building, hitting each other instead of tackling a guy running by. Classic. Meerkat, stop! He's now destroying my property. All right. What was I on? There was a chat message I was trying to... Crazy that Florence is a real city. I thought it was made up name for dispatch. What makes the most upset is that they never even informed all of the journalists in the room that there was a shooter. Like, they didn't give a single fuck. Stop! Stop! All right. Oh, we'll just put the wheel in frame so you guys can see it if he decides to do it again. Anyways, let's just get into it, shall we? I think the sooner we get out of this, maybe he's just really mad because my camera is too big and it bothers him. So let's close this shit. All right, let's go. I finished my gym session 3rd time this week. Thank you for the motivation. Yay, congrats. All right. Let's go. Let's watch the Trump. Here we go. 1 second. Let me pull it up. Let me pull this up. Here we go. Yes, good. Good. I'm gonna be so for real. I'd rather they push this ballroom meta rather than the violent left, or even worse, Hassan Piker, the Islamic style terrorist gamer, called for this violence to happen. But that's factually true. Hassan personally did this.
Well, thank you very much. That was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see a man charge a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons. And he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity.
Sorry, I'm just reading this, the Chiron on the bottom. Nicki Minaj expected at White House Correspondents' dinner.
I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now. Put out on Truth and put out on many of the platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on...
Attacked our Constitution? What is this, that one Nick Cage movie?
Our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape. He is has very high spirits.
Yeah, it's as opposed to the very weak guns that people normally use in attempted shootings. Okay.
And we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building, and I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House.
Kansas Poop Pants one. What is this link that you sent? They'll turn around, look at this, and say, hell yeah, brother. This 12-gauge folding shotgun fits in a standard backpack and goes from stowed to send it in 3 seconds. And the caption is, what possible Yeah, what possible market other than mass shooters could this appeal to? Tarkov players. Next question.
It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police. And we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to. And you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story, and in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I ask that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody.
This part was very bizarre. Why did he say that? Liberals and progressives, perhaps they're interchangeable, perhaps not.
In that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love.
The Daily Beast is shitting on Kash Patel for just standing there. Well, yeah, he's just standing there menacingly. I like how Kash Patel's just existing. He looks so suspicious. Kash Patel, the type of guy that back in the Among Us days would get kicked out as imposter first go around every time, even when he was an imposter. Then he'd have he'd be like, finally, I'm imposter. The round hasn't even started yet. Someone calls a meeting. They're like, yeah, he's the imposter. It's like, what? No one's even died yet. It's only been 10 seconds of the game. What the fuck?
And coming together, I watched and I was very, very impressed by that. But First Lady and I were taken very well care of, very quickly rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was likewise beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanch.
What did he need help with?
To come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job with such a beautiful.
I'm so sorry. Just really quickly. The Chiron on the bottom. Senators introduced bipartisan hot rotisserie chicken act. We're in the stupidest fucking timeline. We're just like, just like.
Person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job with such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondence. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution.
Which, by the way, we care about a lot in the United States. In the United States, we care a lot about free speech. What's that? Wait, hold up. Wait, sorry. What's that? The co-founder of Ben & Jerry's was arrested after confronting Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about Gaza during a hearing at Capitol Hill.
They need to let food to Gaza. They need to let food to starving kids.
What did you say in there, Ben?
I said that Congress is paying to bomb poor kids in Gaza and paying for it by kicking poor kids off Medicaid in the U.S.
Closer. Back up. No, back up.
Thank goodness our brave officers, brave boys in blue, zip-tied this senior for speaking about children. Who knows what he would have done next, by the way? Who knows? 1 minute you're talking about how you want to feed kids and you don't think children should starve. And then the next minute, there's explosives in your Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that they zip-tied him. He was a massive threat. He was an enormous threat. Thank goodness he was zip-tied. Phew. Who knows what he would have done? Are we... Yes, the free speech. Yep.
But I said very importantly...
This is all the more reason why we need the ballroom.
...that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media. You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out, and you've been very responsible. So Todd Blanch, I'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to have cash. And then you're going to go on. We can ask, I guess we can take a couple of questions. I want to thank the First Lady for, that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response...
Dude, Trump is so addicted to the limelight. It's so different from Biden. Biden would go up there and stumble on his words for like 40 seconds. And then be like, and another thing. Just, hey, smart guy, you take a crack at... Okay, anyway. And then he just kind of walks away. Trump is so addicted to the limelight, he can't even peel himself off of the podium. He's like, okay, and now Todd Blanch can speak. Before he speaks, I just want to say I thank my wife for experiencing some trauma. Finally, it's about time. And another thing I want to say, I want to thank the shooter for making the ballroom possible. And another thing.
Time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay. But it was protocol. They said, please, sir, because they didn't know there was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know could there be probably a lone shooter, but we'll find out. We'll find out very quickly. They have it very well under control. So I want to thank everybody very much. And Todd Blanch, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight you saw
Who the hell muted me? What the hell? I need to beat up. I like how they're struggling with messaging also. There's multiple shooters, multiple shootings, but there's also, it's a lone shooter and a lone wolf. Also, I cannot get over these fucking chyrons. Go to kalshi.com/RSBN and get $10 credit to trade on any
the very worst and the very best of this country.
Of your
saw
choosing.
the very worst by the actions of that coward that the president just talked about. But you also saw the very best because you saw law enforcement do exactly.
Okay, I'm going to say something insane that is not going to make any sense and is not a statement of fact, but rather just based off of the way that he acts and based off the way he speaks. I finally figured it out. There's something about Todd Blanch that I've never liked. Like, I don't like his face. I don't like the way that he speaks. I don't like his existence. I don't like anything about him. And I figured it out. It's that he's got, like, Wifebeater Phrenology. And I would say, no, I will not elaborate, but I will elaborate on one thing, which is if this guy was ousted as being someone who beats his wife, I wouldn't be shocked at all. He just looks like the type of guy that would. I don't even know if he has a wife. I don't even know if he's straight. He just kind of gives off the vibe of someone who wants to beat his wife.
What they're supposed to do. And you'll see the videos come out, I expect, very shortly, and you'll see law enforcement do exactly what we want them to do. And so I echo what what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This
It looks like the villain from the first Men in Black film, the giant cockroach struggling to fit in a human suit. Dude, I need to go back and rewatch that movie.
Investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There is federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage, and I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you, Director Patel.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. President. The President's absolutely right. You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back.
Bro, you are not getting your job back. Stop.
And that is a changing dynamic in this country, and that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect, and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel. Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining all the ballistics that were found on scene to include the long gun and the shell casings. We are conducting witness interviews as we speak. You will hear from our team on the scene there with the mayor and the head of the FBI.
I am rapidly scratching on all of the bullets anti-ballroom just to ensure that we are all on the same page on messaging here.
Field division there, but please note what the Attorney General has just said reigns no truer. You saw the very best of America tonight. The very
bullet casings.
Best unite us at a time of uncertainty because we have leadership here with the President and the Vice President that backs law enforcement, and the men and women that I shook their hands on the scene today could not have been prouder to show up on scene. And as the Attorney General said, make no mistake, we are conducting witness interviews. If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. No piece of information is too small. No piece of information.
Translation, the only other time we've been able to catch people was when you guys gave us the information to catch them. We did get this guy, but in case there's other people, we will not be able to do it. We will not be able to find them. So please, can you guys do my job for me? 1-800, I am definitely getting fired. 1-800, my girlfriend, wife has already moved on. 1-800, I have not. Please help me. Please. Please.
Is inadequate. We will evaluate it all. We will also be conducting interviews of those that were there. And if any of those individuals have information, please come forward to law enforcement or the FBI or the Metropolitan Police Department. We will be examining this individual's background thoroughly. That process has already started. And we are going to ensure that he was either a lone wolf actor or anyone else that was responsible. We will analyze all evidence immediately to make sure that we safeguard this country. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, thank you for your leadership. Attorney General and Homeland Secretary Marlin, thank you for your partnership in law enforcement.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, we'll do a couple and then we go to the chief. Madam Chairman, I just want to say you did a fantastic job. What a beautiful evening, and we're going to reschedule. Okay. And after that, it's very tough for her to ask a killer question, right? But you have done a fantastic job. Please.
Mr. President. I appreciate it. As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly.
Yeah.
And I wonder, especially because unfortunately you have experience with these sorts of threats, in that moment when you realized there was a threat and service agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
That's a very good question, actually. It's always shocking when something like this happens. Happened to me a little bit, and that never changes. The fact, we were sitting right next to each other, the First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. You know, I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all. They really got him. But, so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And some people really understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster. Melania was very cognizant, I think, of what happened. I think she knew immediately what happened. She was saying, that's a bad noise. And we were whisked away along with other people, but we were really whisked away. And again, the performance of
That is a bad noise.
the
That's what she
Secret
said.
Service and the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought was really good. So it was very
The fact that Americans hear loud sounds and always have to think they might be in danger is crazy to me. It's actually really funny. When you start getting close to like the 4th of July, it's like bullets, gunfire, gunshots, or fireworks. What day is it? Oh, okay. It's the weekend. Okay. Wait, what day is it? Oh, okay. No, there's a holiday. There's a holiday. Fireworks. Maybe not fireworks, but probably fireworks. Okay.
quick. There wasn't a lot of time to be thinking because it was a matter of seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do. So we held out. You were there. We held out right till the end, but they didn't want to take a chance, and I understand there was protocol. But we're going to be doing one hopefully within the next 30 days or sooner, and I am ready, willing, and able. And I was all set to really rip it. And I said to my people, this would be the most inappropriate speech ever made if I said one. So I'll have to save it. I don't know if I could ever be as rough as I was going to be tonight. I think I'm going to be probably very nice. I'll be very boring the next time, but we're going to have a great event. And you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Someone please confirm what he was going to be ripping.
Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. There's a report in the New York Post that this assailant assembled his weapon somewhere on site at the hotel. What do you think about that? And I ask respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassination.
Holy meat riding. Oh my meat riding, dude. Fuck's sake, dude. Have some shame. Hold up. Wait. Yeah, I have something for this moment. One moment.
Nations. And I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughing stock for years, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country. And there are a lot of people that are not happy about that. So I think that's the answer, Peter.
And after Butler, your team for a while rethought outdoor events.
Yeah.
Do you think that you now need to rethink
No.
indoor
Well,
events?
but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to, it is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. He charged from 50 yards away. So he was very far away from the room.
And what did you think when you saw the video of how fast he was running?
He was moving. He was.
Is this not insane? Is it not insane to hear Trump talking about the shooter schmoovin'? To hear him schmoovin', to hear him talk about, and someone else mentioned this, I was going to reference this also, to hear him talk about him the way that, like, people do the Scientology runs. You guys have seen these, right? Deepest recorded Scientology run. Any percent.
Wow, it's nice in here.
You're committing a mistake. You gotta get out.
Okay, I'll leave.
Get out.
Did you see the map they made? No. I've seen a couple of these.
Really moving. And the reaction time was great. Boy, those guys, they had their guns drawn literally by the time he was there. They were shooting.
That's right.
I thought they were very impressive. And if I didn't.
Dude, how does Cash look so suspicious? The fucking random side eyes. Oh my God.
That's right.
I thought they were very impressive. And if I didn't, I'd let you know. I'm not going to be. I would not stand for that. No, I thought they were very impressive.
Thank you, President Trump, and thank you for updating us on the suspect earlier. Were you aware of any threats? Was your team aware of any threats beforehand? And do you believe you were the target of this tonight?
I guess. I mean, these people they're crazy. They're crazy, and you never know. He was very far away from me. He had to go through a lot. We had resources all over. We had resources sitting at tables, literally in disguise, sitting maybe at your table, who knows? But we had people all over the room, so he had a long way to go. That was really a first line of defense, and they got him. And they really, they acted incredibly. No, there was no notification. We had no idea. Go ahead, Kevin.
Do you know any political motivations from this?
Well, you never know. Now, we'll be able to tell you that maybe by tomorrow or the next day. He's in custody, and they're asking him a lot of questions. I guess they're going over, Todd, and they're already at his apartment. He lives in California.
Yes, sir.
And they're over there, so they'll be able to tell you. Thank you, Caitlin.
President Trump, did the suspect say anything, or was he wearing anything that would allege some type of motive here?
Nothing. No, I mean, he was a guy who looked pretty evil when he was down. They had him down. He was fighting hard. He was in my opinion, a sick person. Who would do that but a sick person? But I think you're going to find everything about him. No reason to talk about it now. But tomorrow at this time, long before this time, you're going to know a lot of things about him. They seem to think.
Knowing this or hearing this after we got photos of the guy, hearing him say he looked very evil. He looked very evil. So by that, did you mean that there was a particular skin tone?
I think he was a lone wolf, and I feel that too.
Are you concerned about U.S. Secret Service protection ability? We saw several of the detailees take minutes to be escorted out of the room.
No, they acted very quickly. No, I was very impressed by Secret Service. I'm the one, and Mark Wayne, you would agree with that, I think.
Absolutely.
I'm the one that would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, it's my life. And I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, a couple of more. Go ahead, please.
Is there any indication that this shooting could have been linked to the war in Iran?
I don't think so, but you never know. We're going to know a lot. We have the best people in the world working on it, and we're going to know a lot. Please.
Mr. President, there's a lot. There's
you, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced another horrific day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You know, you had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening
Well, I
again?
can't be concerned.
So also, this is a pretty good opportunity to show the shooting. Here's the footage, by the way, for anyone who hasn't seen it. I assume most of you guys have seen it, but for those who haven't. The hilarity is that they were both fake. Isn't it crazy that there's so little trust in this current administration that anytime there's any reporting on a shooting or anything like that, it's like, okay, so what reason are we doing this? So why? Oh, for the ballroom. Got it. Okay. My favorite part about this is everyone at the tables just kind of stays at the tables. They're just like, well, I kind of don't want to get up is the thing. This is, I think, like one of the these tables, I guess the ones closest to the president, they kind of like duck a little, but some of them are just like, I don't really care that much. And the guy on the stage with the gun just scanning the crowd, it's like, well, that's terrifying. These guys don't give a single fuck. These guys don't give a shit. This guy is smiling, dude. Oh, are we still getting dessert though? Because I wanted some ice cream. I wanted some ice cream. Are these the... Is this the security? It's really hard to tell. And then they just kind of go about their day and then they get back on and then it's all good. It's all fine. All fine and dandy. It really doesn't help the fact that, like, again, this country has gone to such shit in terms of like public trust. Hello, Mayor. But this is where we're at. Look at the Trump smirk when Melania heard the shots. Funniest thing ever, Trump can't help himself but give the game away. He's so useless he can't even fake it properly. Listen, I'm going to be bold here. In a time, during an era where everyone is a conspiracy theorist, I will bravely say it easily could be his dementia. He doesn't even know what's happening. He's like gone. He's lost. If he had to fart like hell, he would have. Mayor Cat. Stop. Thank you. Save you. After I bake. Wild all of a sudden. All right. Let's go back to the press conference. It gets better. It gets better.
I can only get great people. They did the job. In my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards, one shot, and he was gone. And if he didn't do it, now, you know, he's David. His name was David. I say, hello, David, every time I see him. David, I like you very much, David. But think of that. Now, if he doesn't hit him, and he hit him right between the eyes from 400 yards.
Who the fuck is David?
Without any notice. Nobody knew. He heard a
You guys know who David is? Do I not know David? Everybody else knows who David is and I don't know him? My bad, sorry.
Sound.
Maybe everybody else is like, oh, classic David, classic David.
Looked over and there was actually a tree that was somewhat in his way. You know the story very well. And he aimed, he fired. And if he didn't do that, beyond me, you would have had a lot more people killed. We lost one great person and two people very badly hurt. They're okay now. But no, that was, so in a sense, you know, it was pretty amazing the job they did. But they did have that one weak spot. As you know, they should have had that covered. Tonight they had everything covered very quickly. And he was fast. He was running full blast. And they got him before they got any further. I was very far away. You know, he hadn't anywhere close to breach the doors of the ballroom. The ballroom was sealed and everybody in there. That's why once those doors opened, they didn't want to do tonight. If the doors weren't opened, we could have probably done it tonight. But I think we're much better off rescheduling. Yeah, please.
Mr. President.
4 attempts on his life so far. Is he doing the right things with all the chances the universe is giving him? Yeah, he's chosen by God. It is actually insane that someone else died at the Butler shooting. And he was like, I was chosen. God saved me. He saved me. God chose to save me and not that stupid firefighter. That guy, God did not want to save him. God did not think he was worth saving. But he did think I was worth saving. It's like,
For you and perhaps law enforcement as well, what is the level of confidence that this was a lone actor? And has the suspect made any statements to police while in custody?
Yeah, I think it's just it's not my profession. We have great professionals up here and outside that have been working with us. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job. These are crazy people. These are crazy people. And
I like that we aren't, like, I know that this is just what the current administration is. It's just manufacture consent before you even have to know all of the details ever. But like, really, we don't know anything and we're just we already know this is a lone wolf. In my opinion, these are crazy people. These are crazy people. The suspect said, and I quote, anti-ICE, Antifa forever. I am anti-ballroom.
they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know, and he's spending life in prison. Because if you let him out, they'll probably, if he serves 10 years or 15 years, you let him out, he'll probably try it again with somebody else. They're sick people. We have a lot of sick people. But you're going to know, I think very shortly, you're going to know, Todd, a lot about him. You're going to know a lot about him. Yeah, a couple of more. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? This could be politically motivated.
All violence. I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here.
Just as a really quick question. Just for starters, really fast. You got to ask the president whether or not the shooting at the White House Correspondents' dinner was politically motivated. Dumbass. It obviously wasn't, fucking idiot. Next question. Get this guy out of here.
It's a dangerous profession. I tell the story. Race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So if you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take
Why did he? Why not just say 0.1%? Why say 10%? It's if you take 10% of 1%. If you do that,
take about the same, 10% of 1%, much less than 1%.
Much less than 1%.
But if you take presidents, it's 5.8%. And about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession.
Someone else can run the numbers for me. I just already know that Trump's math doesn't add up. He's signaling to the rednecks that NASCAR and the bull riding are for real men. I'm the president of the United States, and I have to say, it's a very dangerous profession. It's very dangerous. Okay.
But I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous. I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous. But I love the country, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud.
What? I know that's not true. I don't even need to look that up to know that that's not true. It's hard to think there's any more difficult job than being president. 8% of them are shot at. 8%, not shot, shot at. 8% of them are shot at. It's the most difficult job. It's so difficult. A quick Google search here. Statista pulls up number of deaths on the job per 100,000 workers in 2020. And what, let's see here. Fishers and hunters is at the top. That's so weird. Where's president? Huh. What the heck? Loggers, roofers, helpers, construction trades, aircraft pilots and flight engineers, garbage and recycling collectors, iron and steel workers, delivery and truck drivers. Really, isn't that so weird that they wouldn't put that there? That's so bizarre. Yeah, you forgot to look up the statistics of who gets shot at the most. That's true. That's true. It's possible that the president gets shot at the most. That is possible. You are at a high risk of having a shoe thrown at you. That I will admit. Where's Twitch streamer? That's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. Where the heck is Twitch streamer on this list? I have a very dangerous job of my cat getting mad at me for not paying attention to them.
Part of the job we've done. You see what's happened.
Also a dildo. God, that video of Bush was legendary. I feel like if you throw a dildo at a president, no more than community service, right? No more than community service, right? If you had anything on you other than a dildo, I'd be like, okay, maybe you're a questionable character. If it's just a dildo, you're there for the meme factor more than you are there for anything else. Let's just be real for a moment.
Great country. We've got, I think, the most successful, the hottest country anywhere in the world. This happened over a period of just a year. And we're going to do great things, but with that come risks. There's no question about it. Yeah.
To that end, I mean, there's been so much political violence, not just aimed at yourself, but at other members of Congress, state house speakers, you name it. Is that just the cost of doing business to do politics in America anymore?
Yeah. Well,
what does that say about our country?
Too. We're not the only country. You look at this great violence with all countries. I was talking to somebody from another country today. And they have numerous assassinations of political figures all over the world. You look at South America and South America.
I was talking, no, it's not an America problem. I was talking to other places. I was talking to another guy from another country, and it's bad. It's bad. It's not good. It's not good. Not good. My favorite thing is when you bring up Japan, and you're like, hey, Japan is a great example of how gun control can work. Now, I think that the United States can't achieve what Japan has, where it's like complete removal of guns, just because, again, it's like there's just too many guns in circulation. It's too big of a cultural factor, right? But I do think that there's like common sense gun law that should be applied. And they're like, Shinzo Abe. It's like, did you see the gun that killed Shinzo Abe? And I'm sorry, that doohickey that man made. That was like one of the 2 instances of gun violence in like the past 2 decades. Meanwhile, in the United States, we have like, on average, a mass shooting every day or every other day? Okay. All right. Bro got RIP'd by something that shouldn't work on a Rust map. It's the type of gun that you get like when you're playing one of those like crafting sim games. Or not crafting sim. What are they called? The genre? Like blanking on the genre. I guess it's like a base building, crafting, survival game. It's like the first gun that you can craft. It's like the first one, the pipe gun, the first one that you can craft that kind of fucking sucks ass completely before you can eventually make like revolvers or whatever.
Like some of the numbers are just horrific. It's dangerous stuff, whether it's here or someplace else. No country is immune. No country. Good question.
Will you turn that temperature down at this point?
Well, probably if I decided to just not do much, if I let everybody rip us off and take advantage of us. Look, we're leading the world in trade now. We're leading the world in the military. We're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt it in my first term, and now we use it because we have no choice. We can't let, as an example, Iran, we can't let them get a nuclear weapon. Everything will be peanuts compared to that if they ever were given a nuclear weapon, and they'd use it too. Marco and I were talking about it today. They would use it without even hesitation. We can't do that. It was a shame. I said, oh boy, look at the numbers. We just broke 50,000 in the Dow.
I do think we should start asking Americans, do you think we should bomb Iran because they're going to have a nuke any second now? And if you answer yes to that question, you should be forced to work like in the mines for like a year. Or community service. Your pick. You can pick up trash or you can work in the mines, but you have to do one of those two. If you're dumb enough to admit that, you got to give back to your community somehow, man. You got to give back to the community somehow, man.
We just broke 7,000 in the S&P. They said we couldn't do it in 7 years, in 5 years, 4 years. They were saying maybe in 5 or 6 years.
Again, who the can I know I ask this literally every time, but I'm really hoping one of these days someone answers the question. Who is the they that said that the Dow would never hit 50K?
And we did it in 1 year. And I called everybody together. I called all of these people and others, and I said, we have to take a little journey. I see to do this. We just had the great number. We just broke 50,000. Wasn't supposed to happen during my term. Wasn't reachable. We did it in 1 year, and I said, we're going to have to make a journey to Iran. They're going to have a nuclear weapon if we don't do it. We had the B-2 bombers take them out. I terminated in the first term the Obama agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement, which was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have used it. They would have used it 100%. So, when you do things like that, you become a target. If I wasn't doing that, I guess I'd be a lot less of a target. But I'm honored to be. Okay, one more question. Go ahead.
I wonder why so many people always think that these things are staged, bro. I'm honored to be a target. I'm honored to be a target.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Do you know how the gun was brought into the hotel? And also, how does this event impact you as the leader of our country? Do you think it will change your
I
leadership?
like not to think about it. I lead a pretty normal life, considering it's a dangerous life. I think I handle it as well as well as it can be handled. I think a lot of other people, you know, you read stories where they become basket cases, to be honest with you. I'm not a basket case. I take it as...
In what world are you not a basket case?
Take it as it is. I do it for the country. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I have a first lady who's doing a terrific job. She loves the country, and she recognizes it better than anybody. She's told me numerous times, she said, you are in a dangerous job. But that goes along with her, too. I mean, it's dangerous for her, too. We sat there tonight, we heard that noise, and it was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray, but it wasn't. And again, we had some very brave people doing a great job, so we're very proud of them and happy with them. I just want to thank everybody. They will be able to give you all that information as to the names and everything else. I think we released the names already. Most of you would have it, but his name. We appreciate it. I see so many tuxedos and beautiful dresses. It was a little different evening than we thought, but we're going to do it again, and we have a great chairman who we're so proud of, and we have to make it better. We'll make it safer, I guess, right? But we're going to make it even better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
President Trump, can we hear from the first lady talk about how impactful this was? Can we hear from her about...
Well, honey, would you want to say something?
Okay.
Huh?
One in the back, sir.
Right.
Millions of people across the globe, in fact, are watching you. You demonstrated courageous leadership, and thank God you're alive. All of us are alive today. What is the message that you want to give to the world that this should change? What corrective measures can we take from here on? So.
Well, all you can do, look, I don't care how many people you have.
Dude, the fucking meat riding is so fucking insane. It's just so insane. Thank you for the Dana White link. We'll do that in a sec. I wanted to finish this. It's almost over.
Good they are. They can be the greatest people. You have the greatest security in history. If you have a whack job who's got a brain, but it's a little bit distorted or a lot distorted, they can make trouble. I would say, Pete, right? You know, they can make trouble. Some of these people are of genius level IQ, and they're nuts. So it can be trouble. So you do absolutely the best. You get the best. We have the best people. Well, look, it was proven tonight. He started running from 50 yards, and he was fast. He was like a blur on
He was
tape.
fast as fuck.
He was moving. It was very impressive the way they got him, because a lot of people would be looking and saying, you know, it's like a weird feeling, and they would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast. They looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing. We really do. But it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look at what's happening.
It was actually funny yesterday. The live coverage of this. So what did he mean, Matt Dillon? We'll get to that in a second. The live coverage of this, Trump was talking about the shooter. Trump posted the CCTV footage of the shooter attempting to enter the building on Truth Social. And you hear CNN host being like, and I guess the president released the footage, I guess. Well, I don't know. What an administration. I guess the footage is now released. All right.
Happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning.
Wait, sorry. Let's go back for the Matt Dillon part.
A weird feeling, and they would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast. They looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing. We really
Did he mean Matt Dillon? Or was he talking about someone else? Is there a Dillon that I don't know? Who the hell? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. I don't know any famous actors or whatever. Bob Dylan? He Bourne guy. The Jason Bourne guy?
do, but it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look.
Oh, is it this guy? Okay, never mind. This guy? All right, sorry. This is the best thing about being a cusper. Whenever I feel like it, I'm like, just a zoomer.
what's happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I really don't think so, based on what we know. But we're going to continue to do a great job. That's all I can do. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry. Look at this fucking, the chirons on the bottom. Supreme Court allows lawsuit by injured Army veteran to proceed in Afghanistan bombing case.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Here was the footage, by the way. This should be more than fine to show. There's no violence in this clip. But if you look at this guy was fucking going.
Is the CCTV footage of the alleged shooter at the White House Correspondents' dinner. Now, this is the
You can see that he's the guy on the left, right here.
visuals that you see on the screens.
Bro went so fast, there was literally a gust of wind that hit everybody else. That's why they're like, whoa.
White House Correspondents' dinner. Now, this is the visuals that you see on the screens of this man rushing in at a very great speed, as described by President.
That's fucking crazy, bro. That's crazy. Wait, there was something I was looking at. Wait. I'm sorry, let's take a breath here. I'm not a conspiracy guy at all, but this is an event Trump has never gone to, and now awful approval, war, Epstein. Yeah. 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 Don't send a link of a Fetterman tweet and caption it with, "The stroke victim is asking for the ballroom." Don't send me a Fetterman tweet that says, "We were there front and center. That venue wasn't built to accommodate an event with the line of succession for the U.S. government after witnessing last night drop the TDS and build Trump derangement syndrome and build the White House ballroom for events exactly like these." That's amazing. That is incredible. That's incredible. I don't know exactly how the ballroom would have changed the fact that this guy just ran through security. This seems like a security issue, not really a ballroom issue. I don't really understand how a ballroom is going to impact this. This feels like you just build better security at the entrances and exits. Hello? What? Stephen Miller using his pregnant wife as a human shield. ICF maxing, dude. Holy shit, dude. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That's a little insane. That's a little crazy. I also saw this. Dude, look at this fucking copium caption. Head on a swivel, scanning for threats. Secretary of War. You can tell he's furious. And it's a video of Pete Kegsbreath walking around. Bro is sloshed. What do you mean angry? The classic when you're angry and you start like, I don't know what the, I guess technical term is, when you're like, when your jaw is super loose and you're like that, you like clench your fists and clench your jaw when you're angry. You're not like, where's the bottle? I mean, I'm so mad, dude. I'm so mad. If he's mad about anything, it's that he's mad that there wasn't enough alcohol provided. It said he's mad then, and then he got fucking cut off by the fucking woke liberal bartender. He's like, dude, I've only had like 17 drinks. Give me another one now. Who hired this guy? Classic angry jaw. Classic. Yep. Classic. Yeah. I'm not as think as you drunk I am. Get one more. God. Pull this up, hold up. As I've said many times before, guys, the original content brain freaks are newscasters. Dana White following the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in via the Don Lemon show.
Started getting noisy. Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was a pretty crazy, unique experience.
So you were on the aisle. What exactly did you see?
We were sitting right in front of the table.
Okay.
Right in front of where the president was.
Table. Yes. And what exactly happened? So someone got tackled or like what?
Nobody got tackled, but guys came in looking for shooters. And they came toward our table. I thought the shooter was over by us or something. But, yeah.
So you didn't see the actual attack yourself? Okay.
We go quick. Just took one. Started getting noisy. Tables getting flipped.
That's amazing. That is amazing. But not as amazing as, I don't know how many of you guys saw it. I'm blanking on her name. The woman that posted a selfie after the shooter was like detained or whatever. Let me see if I can find it. Deborah Lee. Shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Shooter is dead. Thank you, Secret Service. Praying emoji. Kissy face selfie. And then she deleted it. Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the bad place who selfies this moment. It's like Lex's girlfriend in the Superman movie. Yes, exactly. Oh, fuck, dude. And then I saw this as well. My man.
Who's in the room? Secretary Pete Hegseth is in that room. You've got Scott Bessent in that room. You have Tulsi Gabbard in that room. You, of course, have J.D. Vance in that room. Naturally, the
This would be my fat ass. The dude that's just like, he doesn't even give a shit that all of this is being televised. And everyone around him is hiding and ducking under the table. And he's like, bro, you can tell how old I am. I'm going to eat my goddamn food. Bro's like, I might die, but I'm not going to die hungry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not even his plate. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's his plate, but it's even funnier if it's not his plate. like, I thought the lamb would be better. I didn't realize the chicken was gonna be good. This guy doesn't mind. If he was hungry, he'd be eating here with me right now. I get shrimp. Well, that guy. Swap these plates. He won't notice. He won't care.
And as John mentioned, the White House Correspondents' Dinner is where we are presently broadcasting from. And who's in the room?
I wanted to pull those. Let me close some of these tabs here. No, not this. Or is it? No, not that. Pete Hegseth and Cash Patel when they heard the gunshots. It's the Mr. Krabs meme. Holy shit, dude. Fucking Christ. Okay, and then I wanted to show you guys this thing. All right.
There was no one physically closer to President Trump last night during the attack than my next guest. In fact, he was supposed to perform at the dinner. This is just moments before the president was rushed off stage. Here with me now is Mentalist O's Pearlman. Thank you so much for being here. I know you got very little sleep last night, but I just want to talk about that moment. You are leaning down with a card, and we're playing it right now. You're talking to, looks like the First Lady. The president is right next to you. And then clearly things got insane. Explain.
Yeah, I was performing right then for the president, the press secretary, and the First Lady. It's kind of like a pivotal moment in the trick where you're just about to do the reveal of like, wow. And we hear commotion. And, in the room, when there's commotion of that sort, you tend to think, we've been on a lot of events, is this a medical emergency? Is somebody having a heart attack? Because you heard a noise. It wasn't gunshots. I wasn't sure it was a tray. We're also higher than everyone, so we have a very good vantage point versus the thousands of people in the room. And I see everyone swarming one table. And I'm looking and trying to understand, and then you see people getting down. And I personally thought, like before I went down, I didn't hear any shots or see what looked like a shooter. I thought there was about to be a bomb. Like I really very much thought, oh my God, it's about to explode. Because of the way that it was being approached, wasn't like guns out, it was like to stop someone. So my first panic when you see in the videos, looking, and then I go down. One person next to me, I can't remember if it was Courtney, went down quicker than me, and I'm like, I gotta get down, something's about to explode. It was incredibly surreal. I get down, I kind of get down on all fours facing left, stage left, and then I watch. It feels like slow motion because of the way the adrenaline is. So there's Ouija, she was blown away, and she's amazed, and then they rush across to get POTUS, and the president gets like taken down by Secret Service, and we don't know what's going on, and he came down. You can look at the video, I don't know the distance, but less than a foot away from me. I'll never forget the image for my whole life because I'm on all fours, turned like this. They bring the president down directly in front of me, and we just look at each other for about 2 seconds. And my mind, obviously, this is like a huge adrenaline, it's just like, oh no, are we about to die? I thought it was about to explode. I thought that was really my instinct. Then I heard what sounded like I thought were shots. So at that point, my mind shifted. I also wasn't sure if he was hurt because his face was not, it wasn't like, he went down really hard. The Secret Service, it's not, I thought in the movies, I don't know if they take you down easy. It was a tackle. Like it was NFL and that would hurt anyone. I don't care what age you are. So when we were looking at each other, he was just looking, but the expression in his face didn't show whether there was pain or what was going on. And then 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, it's like, oh, it's seared in my brain. They pick him up kind of and they go out and then we're on all fours. And I see Courtney and I see 1 or 2 of the other people that are at the dais and we're like, are they shooting? Like we don't know what's going on. So I don't want to get up. So we army.
Did he consider using his mentalist powers on the shooter?
Crawl. She went first, and then the rest of us army crawl out because we didn't want to stand up because I don't want to get hit. I thought there might be somebody still shooting.
I mean, wow. I'm just taking in the story that you just told, as I'm sure all of our viewers are. You mentioned the president's face, and you were face to face with him.
Dana literally doesn't give a shit what this guy said.
For 2 very long seconds. I mean,
the craziest vision ever. It was very like. You never expect that situation ever.
I mean, your job is reading people's faces. It's part of your craft.
Right.
What did you gather from that very quick reaction?
So I think they were well trained. You got it right away.
Have I lost my mind? Have I gone insane? I just want to know if I've gone fucking insane. Just someone please can you guys just wake me up already?
They say the Secret Service did what they were supposed to do, which is they are supposed to, take charge and save lives. They sprang into action. Obviously, I can't speak to what happened in the room because we all took it in at the same moment. But when they had to, they went into action. It was near impossible to read his face because, again, I couldn't tell if he had been injured or hurt. I think it was more of the way he was taken down is quite sudden and lightly violent. So I registered him where we weren't there for a minute. It was just boom, he's down. I was really surprised. I've never been that close to the president. We're like face to face in a very intimate moment. So we're like looking at each other and I don't know what's going on, but it was just a stare and then out. But yeah, it was really shocking.
Oz, you said that you were in the middle of doing a trick for him and for
trick.
the First Lady. I mean,
Yeah,
you could see you were holding up a card for the First Lady. What were you doing?
So I was actually doing a trick for the press secretary where she was thinking of a name. I've done this with you before on air, Dana, and I started guessing how many letters are in the name. And right at that moment, if you see their expressions, the timing is so weird because you see them be amazed because of the name and they go, oh! And then right at that moment is when we...
Sorry, I feel like it's very important for me to say something. I hate this guy for introducing me to the category of mentalists. It makes me so mad. It makes me so fucking mad. It's really funny when you read about this shit. It's like, they're like magicians, but they get really offended if you call them magicians. And also magicians get really offended if you call mentalists magicians. Because they get their powers from divination. Ooh. Not actual skill.
all see what happened. So we were all taken in, and you watch the moment, watch them react. You can see Ouija to the left, and the president gives a smile because they just saw it go, oh my God. Then they saw what's going on in the audience. So the trick directly went into the sudden sense of tremendous danger.
What was the name that you asked her?
So I can't really say that right now. I need to get that's not it's I can't tell you whose name it is or what it is yet. I haven't really discussed that or said if it's a personal nature.
Okay. So it was understood. Well, you'll get back to us on that. And before I let you go,
I haven't spoken to the people.
Was it Epstein?
There yet, so
Understood.
It wasn't there. There's no real context. Yeah.
Yep, I totally understand. Before I let you go, so that was, you were on all fours, and then you went backstage. Were you then again with the president or other people? Can you just explain quickly what happened?
No, so backstage was chaos. Like, you think that we got off, and now we don't feel really danger. I don't really think anybody's going to kill us at this point, but we heard someone's been killed. There's been shots fired. We heard that very quickly. And then we did not know if the president or first lady had been injured or hurt because they were whisked away. There was no blood anywhere, but there are literally 50 or 60 people, assault rifles, guns, everyone's running through us, guns blazing.
So I just got in. He was on all fours with the president backstage. Yeah, I think we all know what was happening.
I saw the vice president at one point about 5 minutes later, and he looked very calm, and he actually was very assuring. We didn't know after that. We found out that POTUS is okay, that First Lady's okay, but that was like, again, I want to say 5 minutes later. It was chaos backstage. We didn't know if there was more than one shooter, just one shooter. Then we heard the shooter was killed. Then no one really knew what had happened for an extended period, which was kind of, jarring. We didn't know what to do.
Yeah, well, you said beforehand it would be a night to remember.
I unfortunately said that the clip with me and President Trump will be seen 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years from now, and it was spot on, but for all the wrong reasons.
Well, here with me now is Jamie Raskin, who is a member of Congress from Maryland and top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. Wow, what a story. Tell me what happened.
Well, I had just come in the room a few minutes before. Unlike most
I must have missed like a patch note. What the fuck happened to his eye?
people there, I was not dressed in black tie. I'd been at a memorial service for Virginia Roberts Giuffre. It was 1 year since her passing, and I came from
Girl, he's about to become a zombie, bro. Hello?
that in another event in Annapolis at the home of Iris Krasnow. And I arrived, and I had just been there for a few moments. I had not even gotten to the table where I was going to be, table 36 with the people from NBC. The people at the Boston Globe table saw me, got up, they wanted to greet me and say hello, and they said, your old friend Kerry Kennedy is here. We go back to law school in the 20th century, and so Kerry came over, we were talking. There was also to my right was a former student of mine, Paul Strauss, who's the statehood senator of Washington, D.C. And they came up, I started telling Kerry a story because I'd been speaking at the Kennedy's King dinner the night before. And I was talking about how, they weren't honoring all kings, just Dr. King. Mm-hmm. And they weren't honoring all Kennedys, but JFK and RFK, but also Kerry. But anyway, and suddenly there's loud booms, crashing sounds, plates, silverware, everything flying all over the place. And people started yelling, get down, get down. Somebody kind of grabbed me and pushed me from behind. I landed on Kerry and a couple other people. And then, people were panicked. I thought immediately about Kerry's situation, having lost her father in gun violence assassination and her uncle. And we were down on the ground for
Oh my God, can you imagine ever trying to have gun reform? No, for sure. That's a waste of time. We should instead just talk about how the president is so great and we need this ballroom.
2 or 3 minutes before people were saying it's safe to get back up. They got him. We got up. And the first thing that Kerry said to me was, this is happening in schools across the country. And the kids have no resources to process their trauma. And so she was talking about gun violence and thinking about other people. And she's a great human rights activist. And, nobody wants to be in a situation like that. But I was glad to have been with her.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing that you thought of. You thought about the trauma, obviously, that she had when she was, a baby, or she certainly has known about, because it's not only American history, it's obviously how she lost her father.
Family history, but we've not dealt with the problem. I mean, we're losing, thousands of people a year to gun violence. There are 100 people shot every day. So yesterday, while that nightmare was going on at the White House Correspondents' Ball, dozens of people had been shot across the country, and we just accept that as the normal course of business. So, I think before we get back to all the political divisions and fighting about stuff, maybe this could be a moment of unity for trying to focus on the things that...
I love Democrats, dude. Love Democrats. Maybe we can do some... Where is the fucking swag, dude? Compare the way that, Mamdani speaks. Where it's, this is what we will be doing. This is what the American people deserve. Oh, maybe we could have a little bit of... Let's reach across the aisle one time. And let's build ballrooms in schools. Bro, whatever, man. Literally whatever, man. Okay, dude. All right. Sure, man. Sure. For sure. I want to show you guys this. Hold up. So, this part.
We have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different, because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. We have to have
Nothing funnier than this not being a false flag to institute emergency executive powers, but instead being a false flag to institute ballroom, and just ballroom, actually. I don't know why I said that as if there was another sentence. I wonder why so many people think that there's a conspiracy here. We need a bulletproof, drone-proof bowling alley. And then, check this out. Grifters got their marching orders. Tonight is one more reason for the new White House Trump Ballroom. Thank God. President Trump is building a ballroom at the White House. This is why we need Trump's ballroom. We need the White House ballroom. All within minutes of each other. I need to remind all of you that Ashley St. Clair recently confirmed for us that the administration does get all these people in group chats and tell them exactly what to tweet. Okay. I do wonder. Or is it? There was a. No. You can always trust Kyle Klinsky's tweeting out some fucking. Some fucking conspiracy theories. God bless him. This was 12 days ago. Trump is going to go for staged assassination attempt again. Blame it on Iran. I'll put a 25% chance on this play. Trump has lost all global respect, such that he, allies, and enemies alike are laughing at him. Everyone got the hate on Hassan and mentioned the ballroom memo. I actually haven't seen that many like Hassan tweets. I think I saw like one. Maybe my timeline was spared. I only saw like one. And that was it. But I've seen a million ballroom tweets. Also, man, they're really letting
He is ready to rumble.
The hell up. They're really letting the conspiracy theorists eat well.
I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
I love it all. And you wrote most of it, you said.
I can't take credit. In true Donald Trump fashion, the man puts his pen to the paper himself. So it's a lot of his own work. He is ready to...
I saw a caption for this that said something like, oh wait, I found it. Hold on. When you know about a surprise birthday party and you promise not to tell, but it's slipping out anyways. Oh, God, dude. Come on, man. There was a I Blame Hassan video out in 2 hours. By who? Oh. Oh my God. I guess this part was cut out, or did I miss it?
And yeah, and you have, and as many of your fellow Democrats have used some heated rhetoric against the president. And do you think twice about that when something like this happens?
What rhetoric do you have in mind?
Just talking about some of the fact that he, is terrible for this country and so on and so forth. I understand that that's your democratic right, but overall, do you
I have
a
no
responsibility?
personal problem with Donald Trump at all. I mean, I talk about the policies of this administration, the authoritarianism like we saw on display in Minneapolis, where 2 of our citizens were gunned down in the streets simply for exercising their First Amendment rights. Renee Good, Alex Preddy, and others have died in custody. I'm talking about policies. I don't personalize it, and I certainly have never called the press the enemy of the people. I think the press are the people's best friend, and that's why it's written right there into the First Amendment. We need the press to be a vigilant watchdog against every level of government, federal, state, local, all of it.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that. Before I let you go,
I don't know what's wrong with his eye, Chad. I don't know. Got pink eye from brown nosing the president or something. I don't fucking know. I don't have any personal problems with the president. Really? And I like the idea that if you have a personal problem with the president, that must mean that you're like personally hiring assassins or some stupid shit. Like, fuck you, Dana. Oh my fucking God. Jesus. Let's close some of this shit. Close. Yeah, like I said, I someone linked the Tectone tweet. It's like, dude, I said I didn't see any people tweeting about Hassan. Tectone is barely a person. I don't know if he would pass a single fucking human being test, brother. Bro wrote a wall. Bro ChatGPT'd a wall. All right. And then here we go. So let's talk about, there was an anchor on CNN that blamed him. If you guys have a link, that would be dope. I think maybe I missed this stuff or something. I don't know. New York Post apparently published his manifesto. Fetterman in the group chat. Yeah, we saw this. The Fetterman tweet. Talking about how we need to drop Trump derangement syndrome and build the ballroom for situations. The ballroom is so that people don't get shot at? Really? Are we fucking serious? Okay. Let's see this. Unfortunately, I know you're not allowed to show manifestos on Twitch. So let me take a quick little skim at this. Sorry, I'm like reading it because again, I can't really show it. Well, he proceeds to call Trump, I believe, a pedophile, rapist, and a traitor. And that everyone who showed up there was complicit to attend a speech by a rapist, pedophile, traitor. Says he is no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Oh my God. And then he has like, an entire section, I guess, after the original manifesto that he wrote. That's like a PS where he just says that the security was fucking dog shit, essentially. And says that the security was a complete joke. This level of incompetence is insane. I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets actually competent leadership again. Holy shit. Again, like I said, unfortunately, Twitch prevents me from showing it about any manifestos. So I can't show it, but there is one on the New York Post. And he ends it with, it's a long piece on why he did. And he talks about how the security was horrible. And then he ends it by saying, going through with this feels awful. I can't recommend it. Stay in school, kids. I have to say, this is probably one of the most, this is such an outlier of a manifesto. Because most manifestos from most of like the lone wolves or whatever are like, I need to do this to right the wrongs in society and whatever. And I guess this is a good segue to talk about what we know about the shooter right now. But this guy was like a kind of a massive outlier. Let me pull this up. Here we go.
More on the suspect now. Three sources tell CNN that authorities have identified this man as Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, from California. The D.C. police chief said the suspect appeared to be a lone actor, was believed to be staying at the Washington Hilton, where this dinner was happening. CNN's Brian Todd has more on the suspect and what we've learned this morning about the Secret Service agent who was shot during the attack.
We have new information just in from the U.S. Secret Service regarding the Secret Service officer who was shot in the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Anthony Guglielmi, the chief of communications for the Secret Service, telling CNN that the officer in question has been released from the hospital and, quote, the ballistic vest helped us avoid a potential tragedy. That is according to Anthony Guglielmi, chief of communications for the U.S. Secret Service. That officer released from the hospital. Anthony Guglielmi declining to name the officer or the hospital where he was treated, but the officer has been released, according to the Secret Service. Some other information we're getting, according to sources who spoke to CNN, the suspect is identified.
Can I say there's something very funny about being able to pronounce Guglielmi, but not Mamdani?
As Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, from Torrance, California. Now, according to the interim Washington Metropolitan D.C. Police Chief Jeffrey Carroll, he said that the suspect was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives in this exchange. Chief Carroll saying that the suspect and law enforcement officers did exchange gunfire, and the chief saying that they believe that the suspect may have been a guest at the Washington Hilton Hotel, the same hotel where this incident occurred. The chief saying that they secured a room there and are trying to determine the contents of that room, so that will provide some critical information. Now, according to the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Janine Pirro, the suspect faces 2 charges at least. One of them is using a firearm during a crime of violence. The other is assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. And some quick information on this alleged suspect's background. According to public records that CNN was able to sift through, he worked as a teacher and a video game.
Stop saying E-Rob. Stop.
According to public records that CNN was able to sift through, he worked as a teacher and a video game developer. According to a LinkedIn profile matching his name and photograph, it described him as a part-time teacher at C2 Education. That is a test prep and tutoring company. CNN has reached out to C2 for comment. We have not heard back from them. C2, according to its records, did name Allen as the company's, quote, Teacher of the Month in December of 2024. According to a LinkedIn profile, Allen graduated from the California Institute of Technology in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. He received a master's degree in computer science from Cal State University at Dominguez Hills last year in 2025. According to Federal Election Commission records, he donated $25 to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2024. And he described himself in his LinkedIn profile as a video game developer. He appears to have published at least one game, an indie game called Boredom, for sale on the Steam gaming.
I did see that, oh man, the Steam reviews on this are probably fucked at this point, huh? They're probably fucked, isn't it? This is the game, apparently. This is the most science teacher game that I've ever seen in my life. There's something very funny about calling it an action game. Oh man, do I dare see the reviews for this? Sorry, let me read the about the game. This is technically a skill-based, non-violent, asymmetrical fighting game loosely derived from the chemistry model that it is itself loosely based on reality. Alternatively, think of it as a hybrid of a bullet hell and a racing game with the inclusion of self-propelled pinballs. Dude, what are you smoking, man? That's too many genres mixed in one, bro. Stop. If you love chemistry or physics, you'll probably enjoy this. If you hate chemistry or physics, you'll probably still enjoy this. Checks reviews. All reviews mixed. Recent reviews mixed. Okay. High speed, low stress electron. High stress, low speed nucleus. Yeah, I'm not reading all this shit, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. Oh, do I dare? When I'm in the weirdest way to get publicity for my game competition and my opponent is this developer. Developer is a jack of two trades, assassinations and game development, and a master of none. Hope my money helps out in the court case. Hope the developer will make a sequel. 8 people found this review helpful. This tutorial teaches you to carefully plan what to aim for and lead your shot so you can shoot the electron. Whatever you do, don't just rush in wildly without a plan. Preparation will always trump a mad rush towards a goal. For the game itself, weird controls, annoying license-free material. This probably Caltech class project should have stayed private and not gone on sale in its current state. This game, okay. It's been like 12 hours, dude. It's been fucking 12 hours. And all of the reviews are from the past 12 hours. None of these people know that chemistry. None of these people know, by the way, that comedy is illegal. Not a single one of these people know. That review just said, thank you for trying, buddy. Bro, that guy's gonna get fucking doxxed, man. Do you guys remember if you said anything about Charlie Kirk in the first 12 hours? In the first week, you got doxxed and arrested? Like,
platform. So a little bit more of the background of this alleged suspect, Cole Thomas Allen.
Let's bring in now retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent Jason Pack. Jason, hello to you. We've not heard anything yet about...
Although with Charlie Kirk, I will say, I've seen people posting Charlie Kirkinations in Tomodachi Life, so it's possible that the time for doxing has passed on Kirk. But man...
whether Allen is cooperating with investigators. But the FBI has searched a home linked to this suspect. We've got video of it from Torrance, California. Detail for us just the work that's happening to get the answer to the two big questions, why and the target that's happening right now.
Victor, good morning. And those are the two most important questions this morning. There's a lot of work going on in two locations and maybe more that we don't know about. Clearly, the FBI's evidence response team there at the hotel in Washington. And now we see the scene fan out into California there in Torrance, where FBI agents are likely executing a search warrant to get to that.
A home linked to him. You guys mean his home?
They're looking for pieces of evidence in there, computers, phones, writings. Was there a manifesto like sometimes that we see? Or importantly, if there's not, that also says something. So there's a lot of work going into that effort to figure out what happened and why it happened. So that why piece we're seeing in Torrance there. And as the agents and the investigators in Washington piece together some of that trajectory, we don't know where all the...
Also, let me just say something really quickly. This is how you know there's no cope on my part. All of the previous shootings in the past, let's say 4 years, I feel like immediately it was obvious what the political leanings of those people were. So I feel like it was very obvious that the Charlie Kirk shooter was a groyper. Or wait, Tyler Robinson. Is that the alleged one? Yeah. Yes. I feel like it's very obvious that that guy's a groyper. And all of the other shooters, it's very obvious that they're right-wingers. The only person that was like a weird one was Luigi Mangione, which seemed to be more of like a centrist. Politically confused, I would say. This is, I think, so far the first. They just released the manifesto. I can't read the manifesto on stream. Maybe I should add that to my title so that people know. Manifesto. Can't read on Twitch. But why? Because I already got banned for it once. Hassan got banned for it once. I'm good on getting banned for it again. Even if you're denouncing what's in the manifesto, it's still considered TOS. Even if it's an old manifesto, it's still considered TOS. Perhaps you could tell us specifically what the manifesto doesn't say. I mean, I talked about the basics of it, but getting back to the point that I was saying, because it's kind of related. Let me also just say, I feel like manifestos, when it's currently breaking news, that should be within the realm of like acceptable on Twitch. I understand like you're not allowed to like go back and read old manifestos for any particular reason, but if it's like current breaking news, I feel like it should be fine, but whatever, who cares? I'm not interested in catching another ban for the same exact offense or whatever. But as far as I know, you can summarize and that's okay. You can talk about what's in the manifesto. You just can't read the manifesto. I will say, I think this is the first shooter that is probably a left-winger. I think every single shooter prior to this shooting in the past, like I said, let's say since the beginning of the Trump era of politics in this country, this is, I think, so far the first one that seems to be on the left. And by that, I mean probably a liberal. Probably. I think he's a Kamala stan. I mean, I don't think that he needs to be a Kamala stan, but if Luigi never had to cross paths with the medical system the way that he did, I think he would have stayed a libertarian coded tech bro. Correct. Absolutely correct. Libs are on the left now. I mean, in American politics, yes. Just because we don't consider them leftists doesn't mean that American media doesn't consider people who vote Kamala Harris to be on the left. There is being on the left and there is being on the right in American politics from an American lens. Liberals are not leftists, but in American media and in American consumption, if you are not a centrist and you are not a Republican, you are on the left. In the United States, liberals are so left that they're considered communists. I mean, they literally were calling Nancy Pelosi a communist. They're calling Mamdani a communist. But yeah, this guy seems like a centrist Christian guy to me. No, I think that this guy easily, I mean, again, you can like read the manifesto yourself and make your own judgment, but I think this actually might be the very, very first instance of someone who might be on the left or might be a liberal. And every single previous one, and it lines up with the fact that like a lot of the details on this case are very different from a lot of the right-wingers that commit violent acts. If you see like the manifesto, this is the best example or the best understanding that I can give you guys of why I think this. And I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. He just seems like he's anti-Trump. No, I think that there's other things in there. To get to the point that I'm trying to make, when right-wingers and centrists discuss violence, they discuss it as a necessity and that it is something that should be praised, that they should be praised for being brave, and that their cause is righteous, and that they should show no weakness. No, not even the cost of doing business, even worse than that. That it's like there is no this is just simply righteous. Whereas he ends this particular guy, the suspect right now, Cole Thomas Allen, he ends it by saying, if anyone is curious about how doing something like this feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry. And says he can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. Like, that just doesn't read like what a right winger says about right before they commit a shooting. It doesn't read like a right winger. Kind of doesn't really read. It maybe is like a centrist, but it certainly does not read like a right winger. You have to understand that when right wingers commit violent acts like this, they are so completely certain, and they do not see any of how they feel as weakness. So this feels very lived up. This feels incredibly lived up. Is his motive the lack of a future as a tech grad? Well, he describes, for sure I agree, not right-wing. Yes, 100%. I think it's unlikely this guy is a right-winger. Again, Tyler Robinson, Groyper. That's an easy clock. Every previous shooter in the past 10 years, right-wingers. Luigi is the one exception where it's like politically confused, because it's not even correct to describe Luigi Mangione as a left-winger, as a centrist, as a libertarian. He's just very politically confused. When you read the documents from Luigi Mangione, they contradict each other in the most bizarre ways possible. So there's also no like self-aggrandizing in this manifesto. To summarize for you guys, basically the manifesto is saying that he committed these acts, or he wanted to commit these acts because the U.S.'s actions do represent the Americans who live in this country. And he says he is no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and a traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. He doesn't list any particular reason. He doesn't say if it's because of the Iran war. He doesn't say if it's because of Oh, okay. So he does describe some of the things actually here. So there's like a section that he has, and it's called Rebuttals to Objections, where he talks about like, it's not really relevant, so I don't want to get too deep into the details. But the TLDR is he does mention detention camps, and he does mention fishermen that were executed, which is probably talking about Venezuela, almost certainly talking about ICE. And then he talks about the Epstein files, and he talks about school children getting blown up, which is probably about Iran. So it's seemingly a complete disgust of all of the actions, all of the heinous actions of the Trump administration. So, like I said, this just doesn't, this doesn't read, and again, maybe you guys can read it and tell me what you think, but this doesn't read to me. It doesn't feel like the statements from sorry, I just saw a section of this that's crazy. There's a section of it where he says, I guess he's trying to pre-watch what people's reaction is going to be. And one of the, I guess, like attempted pre-watches is, quote, you didn't get all of them, which in hindsight is almost a little funny because he didn't get anyone. But his reply, his rebuttal to the pre-watching commentary is gotta start somewhere, dude. And the starting somewhere is getting immediately grabbed by Secret Service. Okay. Does he name any specific targets? He talks about Cash Patel. No, wait. He says... He actually doesn't talk about Cash Patel. He says, like, other than Cash Patel. He just describes what he wants to do, and he says, like, this is the order of targets. And he basically says, like, that the guests are not people that are targets, and that hotel employees are not targets. And that all of the guard and the security are not targets unless they shoot at him. And he says all of the administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, are targets. I don't know why he singles out Cash Patel. I'm not really sure.
Shots have gone, so the FBI lab and the evidence
Maybe he just knows he's gonna get fired. He's like, you don't need. Listen, you're on your way out.
response team will do some trajectory analysis and see where those rounds went and who may have fired them. And we are still unclear about that. But as they piece that together, it's important, Victor, because they'll take those pieces of information and match that up with some of those charges that the United States Attorney announced last night.
Yeah. You mentioned the potential for a manifesto.
He's trying to prevent Cash Patel from going to Valhalla.
So, and listen, we've covered so many of these that often
He must have known bro was getting cucked. He was staying in the hotel prior. He's like, you're going to get fired. You're actively getting cucked. Your girlfriend out holding hands with some other bro. You're suffering enough. I don't need to kick you when you're down, bro.
Find a manifesto online. Now, let's go through what we know about this suspect. This is someone who came to this event, according to law enforcement, was a guest at the hotel, had this long gun, had a pistol, a handgun, several knives, and picked not only an event that the president was attending, but also literally the most well-known names and most influential people in media. Is this the type of suspect who would want the world to know why he's doing this, considering the event he picked?
And by the way, guys, this is like actually terrible news for this fucking country. When you have people that are relatively normal that are committing violent actions like this out of desperation because they think that it has to get done, which is what he describes in his manifesto, that he doesn't want to be the person to do this, but nobody else is doing anything. It is bad. Like, we are fucked. This is not a recession indicator. This is not a depression indicator. This is like the empire has fallen indicator. And we can discuss analysis without justification, but you have to understand that, like, this is when someone who has, like, family, when someone who has friends, someone who has a job, has hobbies, someone who is an otherwise well-adjusted adult and is describing this as something that they don't want to do, but they feel like someone has to do it. We're like fucked. Like, it's actually, and again, I'm comparing him relative to other lone wolves or whatever. Because most lone wolves are like, they're completely cut off from their family. They're completely cut off from their friends. Even Luigi Mangione, who was like, out of all of the cases, one of the more normal people who's committed a violent action against X, Y, or Z person. His friends said that before the shooting, he became very distant. Allegedly. He became very distant and he stopped hanging out with people and he started removing himself from societal contact. Whereas it doesn't seem like this is, like, this guy does not fit any of the archetypes that we see normally with these cases. Like, think about Elliot Rodgers, which is such a classic lone wolf case where, like, friendless, doesn't speak to his family, has 19 years old and is like, there are no foids that love me, which means I need to kill all of them. Like, this is not that guy. This is not him. There's no, like, self-aggrandizing in this document. There's no, like, righteousness in this document. In fact, it's like there's an entire section dedicated to like thanking everyone in his life. Like there's no despair in this. There's like, this is why I was pushing back against someone saying it's a necessary evil. No, this is an instance of someone thinking that what they're doing is a necessary evil. One moment.
Yeah, I think that's a fair question and just shows you the level of preparedness and premeditation. You just don't wake up and decide to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. As you know, you have to plan that a lot. So it required a lot of pre-planning, a lot of thinking, probably a lot of research. And the fact that he was able to travel from California, we think, all the way to Washington, the hotel rooms there are not cheap either. So doing the retrace of the financial.
At the risk of all of you hating me for my camera being too big, can you guys look at my worm? Okay, thanks.
To how he got there, who he may have spoken with, and all the people he may have interacted with. They're pulling the hotel video to be able to see where he'd come and gone there while he was at the hotel, and how did he get the weapons in. So a lot of questions to answer there. But as far as the reason, clearly you have some of the most experienced journalists in the world in the same room with the world leaders. And that certainly says something about his motivation, I would think.
Can you explain something? Control room, let's put up the picture of Alan on the floor face down. Yes, this picture. I've covered many of these after which the shooter has been apprehended. And it appears he's obviously shirtless. I don't know what else he has on, but he's covered by a Mylar blanket. Is it protocol to take the suspect's clothes off? I've never seen this. Explain why we're seeing this.
Okay, thank God we're finally talking about this, because I've been thinking this the whole time. Why the fuck is this guy shirtless?
Him in this condition.
Well, they probably were looking for explosives or something. So when you detain a person, you do what's called a high-risk search to make sure there are no weapons in the waistband, those types of things. And then you do a full search on that. So this appears
for bombs, I guess. Okay. Kathria, I just kind of pulled the Band-Aid off and tried it, and think it just worked.
to be some sort of full search. It does look like that blanket on top of him there. So they wanted to make sure there were no other threats. Did he have any explosives tied to him? Those types of things. When somebody is charging at you with a shotgun, you don't take any chances with that. So you want to make 100% sure that there's no other threats.
Speaking of other threats, this investigation is only a few hours old.
Maybe, I guess, in the previous instances, like with Tyler Robinson or whatever, they detained him. Or sorry, well, they killed him. Well, no. Tyler Robinson, they detained him. I'm thinking of the Butler, Pennsylvania guy. I don't even remember his fucking name. The guy who missed. His name Crooks? Tom, what was his name? Not Tyler Robinson. Thomas Crooks. That guy. Yeah, Tyler Robinson turned himself in. Well, he didn't turn himself in. It was that, like, it was a tip from his dad or whatever. It's a long story, but it's a... I guess maybe I'm just used to them seeing them all with clothes because they either detained them because they got a tip off the facility. I guess it would make sense. I don't know. Maybe they just like took the photos afterward.
Old and early on, even last night, we heard law enforcement say that they believe that he acted alone. How were they so early in the investigation able to reach that? I mean, maybe he was there at the Washington Hilton alone, but to say that he acted alone, how'd they get there potentially?
Well, that's a very good point, because we all know in these early stages of these crises, as investigators learn things, the facts kind of change a little bit, right? Because they haven't done their homework and they've interviewed people and they are able to prove what they're saying. So there has to be some sort of at least initial level of optimism that was true. Again, like you said, Victor, there probably wasn't anybody with them. They were making sure of that. And then in their checks in the background initially, nothing probably came up. But I think as we go in the days ahead here, they're going to make sure that is the case, and they're going to talk to all of his associates. We know that he might have been a teacher. They'll go to any of those types of places, interview his coworkers.
No way. Hi, Wormy. You want to sit? Sitting time. He has to sit. He has to see. He likes to sit on my arm. Wait, breaking news. We just got a new Alex Jones driving in his car video. I do not think the shooting last night at the White House Correspondents' dinner was staged. Yes. I'm not seeing enough of Bobas in chat. Let's get the fucking Bobas going. Show some fucking respect to my goat. To my goat.
Everybody's asking me whether or not I think the shooting at the White House Correspondents' dinner last night in D.C. was staged, and the long and short of it is no. You had too many of the D.C. police, Secret Service, all of them involved. The very small percentage of those guys are corrupt. Something like...
Don't worry, guys. The police are not corrupt.
That right out in the open, a registered Democrat, Trump derangement syndrome, 30-year-old teacher. Everybody keeps saying that, how do you get through security? He didn't. He waited until the event was going. Then he charged the metal detectors, barely got through it, and they shot him twice. He had a shotgun. He shot one of the Secret Service, but the body armor stopped the buckshot. That's just the facts. That doesn't mean we don't have cover-ups of Epstein and cover-ups of a second shooter in Butler.
One detail worth noting, this manifesto does say, in order to minimize casualty, I'll be using buckshot rather than slugs. Less penetration through walls.
Pennsylvania. Doesn't mean I just believe what Cash Patel and them say. But, there's footage of Cash Patel out in the dark. Cell phones are so good, though. You can hit, up the light. You can see him. He's all on his phone, not knowing what's going on. Because they usher him.
It is crazy that Cash Patel, sometimes I forget what Cash Patel's technical job is. Because in my head, he just doesn't do anything other than get drunk. And then every once in a while, I remember, wait, that guy's the fucking head of the FBI. What do you mean the head of the FBI is showing up at this fucking dinner? And he's just sitting there. He's like, there's a shooter. What do you want me to do about it? The shooter? Who, me? You want me to do? I don't know what am I supposed to do? What the fuck am I supposed to do now? I don't know. He's not even trying to find his girlfriend. Bro is like giving up on life. Bro is literally giving up on life. He's just looking for his fucking fellow liquor cabinet members. He's like, are we getting drunk again today? Oh boy. Can someone please explain to me why someone with a master's degree who's not a streamer would work as a part-time teacher? Job market is fucking ass. Also, some people have a personal preference for wanting to be teachers. Also, technically, I think he was he not a professor? Maybe he was a teacher.
All out, but the guy did not get into the main ballroom. Trump's been told that that's not a safe facility. That's why he's never been there as president. But over the objections of the Secret Service, he did it. And that's why they want the ballroom. It's just got bulletproof glass and better security systems. Every other major country has facilities to do this. We don't. That's why Trump's obsessed with it. But that's a side issue. So yeah, Charlie Kirk, definite cover-up going on there. We know Patel ordered the investigation of foreign involvement to be killed. The list goes on and on. But just because a bunch of other stuff is a lie does not mean that this is a lie. There are a lot of Democrats that want Trump dead. There are a lot of people openly saying they want him dead. And I think Trump, really needs to be a lot more careful. But at the end of the day, Trump says he's honored in that press conference that, he must be getting something done. It's only presidents that get stuff done do they try to kill or kill, which is definitely a true statement. So I'm very glad that they've indicted the SPLC for running the white supremacist groups, which I told you decades ago is the case. Told you they were in Charlottesville. That's all come out. I just want to call the balls and strikes. Good stuff Trump does, bad stuff Trump does, I'll expose. But I'm
like what? I also saw, I'm not going to lie, I am enjoying the current cycle of everyone shitting on Cash Patel. Keystone Cash ripped for just standing there after shooting. Cash Patel is once again under scrutiny, this time after shots rang out, steps away from Trump and top administration officials. The embattled FBI was seen appearing to linger aimlessly in a video captured after a man exchanged gunfire with Secret Service at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday. In footage captured by ABC News journalist Lindsay Davis, Patel is standing agape outside the Washington Hilton. It's not working. Oh, I can't read the rest of this article, so I can't click on it. Damn you, Daily Beast.
Notice when I shot a live feed earlier saying, was it staged? I say right up front in the first minute that I don't think it's staged, and just flooded with Trump bot, Trump cult people saying, you traitor like Candace Owens, how dare you say it's staged, blah, 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 blah. I don't think Candace Owens even commented yet. You guys just froth. And anybody that ever questions anything Trump does, like, hey, this war is a bad idea. Hey, the mullahs won't fall in 4 days. Israel's lying. Hey, the Pentagon told Trump don't do it. Hey, they'll close the Strait of Hormuz. It'll kill the recovery. It's all happened, but I'm a Qatari agent because I'm right. And so now...
Is that the guy who used to own InfoWars?
You just see me comment on this, so I must be bad. And I see other people saying, oh, how dare you cover this up? No, it's absolutely staged. On and on and on. It's just crazy town, folks. You've got to do your own research. You've got to look at the facts. DC's 95% Democrat. More than half the cops there are Democrats. They weren't going to take part in a cover-up and then, stage this, thing where this crazy tries to bum rush and get in there with a shotgun. I think it's what you saw is what you get. But Caroline Leavitt said shots will be fired tonight. She said, yeah, it's going to be a big slug out. It's going to get heated. Shots will be fired. That is a saying that's overused, meaning people arguing and saying mean things to each other. JP Sears just...
Dude, my goat is washed. Dude, my goat is so fucking washed. He's gone, bro. My goat is washed. Well, that's just what people say. Don't be so mean. Stop. Dude. Here's the video of Kash Patel just standing there.
Sorry.
Bro was scrolling Twitter to see if he still has his job. Why are they saying my girlfriend was holding hands with someone? Stop! Stop being mean to me.
Had that term a few weeks ago in that skit we did about my IQ test. Does that mean that, he's involved? I mean, just come on, folks. Come on. Now, Caroline Leavitt's husband did tell a reporter, she called in on Fox News about it, that, hey, you need to be really careful, watch out tonight, because they all know that this is one of the first big public events where people can get in and there's lax security, and Trump was warned. So they're all moving on to military bases. They're all getting death threats. They're concerned. I'd be concerned if I was that. So people take those few things and say, look, it's the total proof of what's going on. They also put out fake images of the shooter wearing an IDF jacket or an IDF sweater. Fake I confirmed. Not defending Israel. I'm just not going to make stuff up, okay? That's the bottom line. So I do not believe the evidence we have right now this was staged. I don't think Butler was staged either. I covered that in an earlier video. There is a cover-up, though, of crooks being supported. What happened, the Secret Service stand down. And there being another shooting that we have total evidence of. Follow me on X, Real Alex Jones, on Rumble at the Alex Jones.
I like that this guy chose to stop being a conspiracy theorist after he lost his show. I'm not going to make stuff up. My name is Alex Jones, guy who's famous for making stuff up. So famous for it. I got sued for like over $1 billion and lost my show. And now I'm going to stop. Okay. All right. Dude, look at my worm. Like, she's like the little like goggles or whatever they're called on like a submarine. Like scoping the place out. Detection. Detecting bannable chatters. Yes. It. Ban them all. Ban them all, Wormy. It's like, oh, I don't want to ban them all.
Show and our new news site, because the bad guys are very close to shutting down InfoWars, as you can see in the news. And that is AlexJonesLive.com. One word, AlexJonesLive.com. All the news feeds, articles, breaking news, and more, AlexJonesLive.com. Thank you so much for being on the radio today, 4 p.m. Central. All the clips, all the proof, everything, and so much more. Thank you so much for joining me today for one of the last InfoWars shows out of those old studios at InfoWars.com/show, 4 p.m. Central. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you, Alex Jones. Thank you so much. Here we go. Let's go back to what we were talking about. Let me pull this.
Hello and welcome. I'm Samantha Simmons. Donald Trump says he was the target of a would-be assassin after gunshots were fired just outside a ballroom where he was attending a gala dinner. The American president was rushed to safety after a man armed with guns and knives attempted to enter the White House Correspondents' dinner at...
Also, I gotta say, what were the knives for exactly? Bro was like, in case I run into some British people or something? Like, I don't understand really what the...
at the Washington Hilton Hotel. Mr. Trump was unhurt, but a secret...
he was bringing it for dinner. Oh, he also had a dessert spoon and a fork with him. Okay, actually, sorry, that makes sense. Backup weapon? What is he? What is he, like an expert with throwing knives or something? Like, what the hell?
Service agent was hit. Police say his life was saved by his bulletproof vest. Some of the most prominent American political figures were also in attendance at the event, along with hundreds of journalists and diplomats. This image, which...
There is something insane about like writing in your manifesto that there's so little security and then you can't even get past one security guard.
President Trump shared on social media.
Oh, it's because you run faster with the knife out. That's why he was going so fucking fast in the CCTV footage. Oh my God, dude. You're like... I've played CS. I've played Apex. I've played games that have this. I don't know why I just like...
Shows the suspect. He's been named as Cole Thomas Allen, and he's expected to be charged with several offences, including using a firearm during a crime of violence. Well, these are live images outside Howard University Hospital in Washington, D.C., where the suspect is being held in custody following...
Wait, no way. Is it actually happening? Someone found a link for this?
Unprecedented. And we have a leftist movement and a Democrat Party. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries last night said he gave a very generic, political violence. Well, we have a left that, has embraced Luigi Mangione.
It's not the left that embraced Luigi Mangione. Go look at Ben Shapiro's comment section. It was not a left-wing versus right-wing issue there. Everyone in America has been getting either fucked by or seen somebody else get fucked by American healthcare, especially United Healthcare, considering they have a 30%, is it denial rate for treatments or for any coverage? Like, I'm sorry. If you live in America, you have been absolutely railed by insurance, by healthcare, by medical bills, or somebody else that has been.
Hassan Piker. We have a left that is not saying stop doing this to the president.
I think there's an assumption on the left where...
If you're a leftist, you have to completely, entirely say, stop doing this to the president. Stop doing this. Stop doing this to the president. And you have to ignore the fact that all of the previous attempts were by confused right-wingers. Hassan, tell them to stop. Please. Please. Rise in political violence, investigating reasons behind targeted attacks.
There's no shame in threatening the president's life on the left. So this isn't a both sides thing. So we can just cut that garbage out right now and just stop the nonsense. On the right, okay, on any respected kind of mainstream figure on the right, if you were to go out and even imply someone should be physically hurt on the left for their ideas, you're almost instantly shamed out of the movement.
Hello? Are we just gonna all ignore the fucking bumper stickers that people had on their fucking trucks? What? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just see something really quickly. Biden tied up truck. Yeah, I guess this was like a leftist that did this. Or sorry, this was someone on the left rather. I guess this was someone on the left that did this. Ignore the Trump 2024 comment. and the Trump plate. Just ignore that. This was obviously clearly a leftist. I mean, as long as you ignore all of the Trumpers that are doing this, I guess it's fine, right? Right, guys? Sure. Mike Pence. Yeah, I guess the people saying hang Mike Pence, those people were all leftists as well. Let's just pretend like January 6th didn't happen. Let's pretend like Nancy Pelosi and her husband were not attacked. Let's just pretend like all that stuff was fake. Okay, yep.
There is no such corresponding effect on the left. You just mentioned the name. I don't even want to mention this guy's name because he's such a zero. But he's out there implying that, physical violence is okay and is a means of fighting back against a man or systemic discrimination, whatever crap they throw out there. You're welcomed in open arms on mainstream left-wing podcasts.
I'm sorry. And just as a quick question, Melissa Hortman was attacked, I guess, by a liberal and a left-winger? Just so we're all on the same page, by the way, right-wingers have made fun of Melissa Hortman.
Where they're like, hey, come on in and spew this bile out there. There is no such corresponding movement on the right. There is no both sides, folks. Stop telling yourself that. It's not true. You would never be allowed on this network. You work here. I've worked here a long time. You would never be allowed in this network, even joking around about that stuff.
So just as a really quick question, really quick question here. Where is it? Just as a really quick question. And just Mike Lee is now on the left? I'm hearing this for the first time. Mike Lee is on the left. Did you guys know that Mike Lee is a liberal? Because here he is joking about an assassination attempt on left-wingers that he doesn't like. I guess it's okay when the Republicans do it, and it's not okay when the left-wingers do it, right? That makes sense, right? Oh, okay. All right. Here he is talking about Charlie Kirk and then getting absolutely bodied by this you. When Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband were assassinated, Senator Mike Lee mocked their murders online, writing, "This is what happens when Marxists don't get their way." Play the Gutfeld clip where they joke about breaking into Hassan's house. Mark Levin literally threatened Hassan's life like yesterday. Oh, yeah. Well, this is like, people would say that, oh, who cares about the homeless people? So this doesn't count. We're only talking about political extremism and assassinations, which is insane, but okay.
Saturday night's incident. And these are the live pictures from outside a property in Torrance, California, at an address believed to be linked to the alleged gunman. The FBI are reported to be searching the building. Our correspondent Tom Bateman was among journalists invited to the event and has sent this report.
Chaos breaks out at the Correspondents' dinner. President Trump is bundled from the stage. Also in the melee and rushed away, the First Lady, Melania Trump, and the Vice President, J.D. Vance. The Secret Service agents, heavily armed, swarm the room, filled with thousands of journalists.
I can check it twice.
And here, what had triggered it. A man police say is armed with a shotgun, a handgun and knives rushes the security inside the hotel. Witnesses then tell me they heard gunfire break out and pandemonium is unleashed in a room packed with the world's most powerful politicians. I was at one of the tables just meters from the stage where the president was sitting.
Well, we've just seen the entire stage at the Correspondents' dinner being evacuated. The president was there, and everyone here, you can see, is under the tables at the moment. We saw security forces rush in.
So far, the craziest thing that I've seen that happened at this dinner Dan Scavino tried to get a USA chant going at the WHCD to get a viral moment after the incident, since they didn't get a staged photo op like in Butler, but no one was falling for it and they shushed him. So can we just hang it up? Can we just hang it up? I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm fucking done with this shit, man.
Armed with guns. You
Oh
can see
my
now.
God. It's already cringe enough to say USA, USA at all at any given time. Saying it right after there's an active shooter threat is like insane, dude.
Stage, there are security forces armed with guns.
In the room, other top members of the US government caught in the pandemonium as Secret Services swarm the venue. Terrified guests take cover. Others escape the dinner room, making their way through the hotel.
Every single person around me just jumped under a table. We heard 3 shots back to back, pop, 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 and I bolted for the door.
We just come through security, so they're not letting us back in now. So you've got lots of Secret Service, lots of security people, and quite a few people coming out of the ballroom. And one of the guys at the security entrance there just said this is now being treated as a crime scene and we have to leave that area.
As guests were told to leave, Mr. Trump was motorcaded out and the event cancelled before the president held a news conference at the White House. He called the alleged gunman a lone wolf whack job.
That was very unexpected.
And again, the crazy thing about this case is that this guy actually doesn't seem like he was a whack job in the way that we traditionally think of like lone wolf attackers. There have been some posts talking about what we know about him that maybe I wanted to get to.
Expected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly.
Police say the alleged gunman is a 31-year-old man from California who is now being examined in hospital.
Meanwhile, Kash Patel is fighting for his life to sober up right now. Yup.
This was a story being told as it unfolded in front of America's journalists, crouched down in a moment of fear despite the glitz and the glassware of this Washington calendar event, and a president bundled off stage as a gunman once again got close. Tom Bateman, BBC News, Washington.
The suspected gunman is due to appear in court tomorrow to face firearms and assault charges. The incident has put the president's security back in the spotlight, as Joe Inwood reports.
Within hours, police were searching the California home of the man at the centre of a night of chaos. Authorities say he's admitted wanting to target Donald Trump or his officials. He's been identified as Cole Allen, a 31-year-old from the city of Torrance.
He was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. As he ran through that checkpoint, members of law enforcement from the United States Secret Service intercepted that individual.
That chart's a couple of months old. And
this is not Donald Trump's first brush with a would-be assassin. In July of 2024, when he was a candidate for the presidency, he was shot in his right ear during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, as witnessed by my colleague Gary O'Donoghue.
As you can see, we're on the ground behind our car, which is not ideal, but that's the shelter we have at the moment.
His defiant reaction helped propel him to the White House. But not.
You know my question, Denims? This is a family values, women, barefoot, and pregnant party, right? There was not one pregnant lady there. Wrong. Classic liberal. I'll have you know there was a pregnant lady. Okay, she was being used as a human shield for Stephen Miller. All right? Excuse you. Now, the correct statement to make here is allegedly pro-life and yet putting the child in danger first. Claim to be pro-life and yet... Interesting.
Not before another attempt on his life. In September of the same year, he was rushed to safety
Christ, you know
after
what?
a
That's my
suspected
bad. You're right,
gunman
Denims. I got
was
you, man.
spotted
Don't worry.
hiding in the bushes of his Florida golf club. Last night, as guests left the Washington Hilton, there were already questions being asked about security at the event. It's reported that Cole Allen was staying at the hotel, and the security checks were only cursory.
This afternoon, President Reagan emerged from the Washington Hilton.
It's also not the first time this specific venue has seen an attempt on a president's life.
Shots fired at close range from a .22 caliber pistol.
In 1981, Ronald Reagan was shot and wounded as he left an event. He suffered a punctured lung.
We and our allies stand together.
In a statement, King Charles said he is greatly relieved that President Trump, who came on a state visit to the UK last year, is unharmed.
But this is truly one of the highest honors of my life.
The King and Queen begin a trip to Washington tomorrow, marking 2.5 centuries of US independence. Buckingham Palace says further discussions about security will now take place.
I mean, these people are...
You gotta admit, though, that's kind of funny, showing up to, like, the anniversary of when you fucking lost.
They're crazy.
Donald Trump, maybe America's most controversial modern president, has now faced multiple attempts on his life.
Your team, for a while, rethought outdoor.
Wait, chat, you guys brought up a really good point. In Buckingham Palace, they've got ballrooms, and they don't have gun violence. That, maybe you guys are onto something. Maybe you guys are onto, it must actually be the ballroom. The ballroom prevents violence, because anyone who enters the ballroom is so taken aback by the beauty of the ballroom that they don't want to commit violent acts. That must be it. It can't possibly be gun control. That's not it.
Yeah.
Do you think that you now need to rethink?
Also, can I just say my favorite thing about right-wingers that are like, how about you check knife violence in the UK? You check knife violence in the UK and the US, and the US has a higher per capita knife violence rate.
No. Well, but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to. It is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. He charged from 50 yards away, so he was very far away from the room.
Back in California, and police continue to search the home of Cole Allen. But the questions raised here will go far beyond what motivated one man to try and kill Donald Trump. Joe Inwood, BBC News.
President Donald Trump and officials in his administration were the likely targets of the attack. Speaking to ABC this week with George Stephanopoulos, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanch explained what they knew about the gunman at this early stage.
The FBI and other law enforcement worked through the night. They executed search warrants on both coasts, both in
What a sec. I hate looking at this guy.
D.C. at the hotel room where he was staying, which was inside the conference center where we had the dinner, and also in Los Angeles at the suspected home. We know that he had 2 firearms on him, as has been reported, along with some knives. We believe that he traveled by train from Los Angeles to Chicago, and then Chicago to Washington, D.C., and we've executed search warrants on his devices as well. We've started talking to folks that know him, and to try to just continue to gather information and evidence. I was on the phone with the director of the FBI after 1 o'clock last night, and they were working through the night. He was working through the night, and I think that as the days go by, we'll certainly learn more. But that's what we know so far.
Are you confident he was acting alone?
Look, it's 12 hours in. As President Trump said last night, it appears he did. We don't have evidence to the contrary, but that's not that surprising given the timing and when everything happened. We are actively combing through all the evidence that we've collected and going to continue to do that today and in the coming days and weeks. And if he did not act alone, or if folks knew what he was doing or helped him along the way, we will find that out. We don't have evidence to show that as of this morning.
Our North America correspondent Shaima Khalil is in Washington. She described the press conference Donald Trump.
Bro, they needed a whole platoon for one guy. Honestly, this just makes me so sad seeing some normie libs turn to extreme violence. Just shows how fucked up and bleak everything is. I mean, as I said already multiple times, but today as well, like, we're totally, like, we're literally fucked. The country's fucked. It will get worse. It will only get worse. When someone who otherwise should not be engaging in violent actions, when someone is apologizing for their behavior and thanking everyone around them in their manifesto, and it's someone who like has a master's degree, has friends, has family members, has a social circle, and that's a person who's engaging in violent acts, it's like we're literally fucked.
Gave shortly after the incident.
There was a manifesto. It is over here that it does say the manifesto was released. I just can't read it on Twitch.
With so many people still in the ballroom, it was, he said that he wanted to go on, but of course the security officials have said that it was protocol that this event had to end. But in...
Are you saying our political climate is directly tied to material conditions? It seems a little crazy, don't you think?
In that press conference, he said, I really wanted to continue with the night. He said that we'll do it again. The night will be rescheduled. But yes, he wanted to appear in front of everyone. He wanted to address the nation and address the press and give as much information as he could at the time. We are now hearing from the acting attorney general, Todd Blanch. He's been speaking this morning to some of the Sunday morning shows, and he said that the investigation into the motive continues, but preliminary findings suggest that the suspect was targeting administration officials and possibly the president. Mr. Blanch also said that the suspect was not actively cooperating with the investigation or with the officers, and he confirmed that the suspect was staying in the hotel in the days leading up to what happened last night. We know that Cole Thomas Allen, the suspect, is going to appear in court tomorrow on Monday, and he will be charged with assaulting a federal officer, discharging of a firearm, and attempting to kill a federal officer. He is likely to face more charges as this investigation continues. But at the heart of all of this, and you've heard it asked in so many ways, is the security breach of a high-profile event in that building behind me, the Washington Hilton Hotel, one of the most secured areas in the whole country, as someone put it to me, and you can still see the barrel.
I'm looking at the manifesto. He literally said he was not targeting Cash Patel. I'm telling you guys, he must have seen, because he was staying in the Hilton Hotel. He must have seen all the reporting about Cash Patel losing his girlfriend and then losing his job. And losing any of his status now that he's exposed as a fucking drunk. And he was like, you know what, man, you're on your way out. It's all good. You know what? You're free to go, man. You're free to go. You're free to go.
Barricades. And these were put up last night because, of course, the president, the first lady, and senior members of the cabinet were there. How the suspect was able to get as close as he did, being heavily armed as he was, a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. Now, the head of the Secret Service, the director of the Secret Service, and other law enforcement officials will tell you that the way the event unfolded shows that the security plan actually worked. Officers acted very quickly. They acted within seconds. He was apprehended. He was prevented from entering the ballroom. But again, the flip side of that is, well, how was he able
to... again, I have to say, like, what does having a better ballroom do exactly? How does having a better ballroom improve security?
To breach that security when the more than 2,000 guests were heavily checked. You have to present a ticket. It was very, very, very secured and sealed. So how was he able to get as close as he did? So Washington wakes up today taking stock of the fact.
Do not say they'll let anyone waltz in. Do not say that. Comedy is illegal, chat. You should know that.
that this massive security breach happened in an event where the president, the first lady, and senior members of his cabinet were present. And remember, not the first high-profile event where the president is present that a security breach happens.
Shaima Khalil there. Well, also in Washington ahead of the King's planned visit is our senior royal correspondent Daniela Ralph, who gave an update on what the palace have said about the security surrounding the trip.
The King and Queen are due to begin their state visit and arrive here in Washington tomorrow afternoon, US time. And we are expecting from the UK government and Buckingham Palace later today a definitive answer as to whether this visit is going ahead. I have to say, I think the mood music is that it will. I suspect the president would very much be in a position of wanting the show to go on. But at this stage, it is not his call. So over the next few hours, there will be meetings between the White House, Buckingham Palace, the UK government and the UK embassy here in Washington to review all of the plans around the state visit before confirming that they can go ahead. Now, as you would imagine, with any visit that involves a king and a president, heavy security was already baked into every single bit of the plan. I'll be traveling with the king this week.
Also, I honestly can't believe security was so bad. I attended an event on the Wall Street trading floor. There were 3 security checkpoints, 1 outside, 2 inside. It'd be impossible then. The fact that security being so bad is crazy. I mean, seemingly there was better security at fucking TwitchCons, like the entering of the premise of TwitchCon. Like, I had to go through like fucking 3 or 4 fucking security checkpoints at TwitchCon. There was no way anyone was bringing any weapons in. And then I like how like in the meet and greets, there's no security. It's like, okay, if you're going to go all in on security, why wouldn't you? Okay, whatever. All right. This is, I guess, the most comprehensive document so far I've seen, or article I've seen on the shooter. Suspect in White House Correspondents' dinner shooting wrote of targeting Trump administration. Cole Thomas Allen, 31, is accused of rushing a security checkpoint, armed with a shotgun, handgun, and knives, and exchanging gunfire with law enforcement. And I want to skip ahead a little bit here. Before the attack, Allen sent family members a note apologizing to his parents, colleagues, and others for what he was about to do, but wrote that he did not expect forgiveness, according to a transcript of some of Allen's writings provided by to NBC News by a senior administration official. I'm telling you, his security guys must hate him too. They just let potential shooters in. I mean, I can only imagine that the way that like the security checkpoints work for Trump is exactly the same as that one. Have you guys seen? I think it was like a Vine. It was like a Vine of like how it feels like to enter public schools in the United States. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Anyone at all know what I'm talking about? Oh man, I'll see if I can find it, but one second. I'm gonna do one more search. Maybe I can find it. Basically, it's just a skit of like this dude trying to like him and a bunch of other people entering a school, and they have like multiple guns out, and they're like, "Oh no, that's nothing. No, that's nothing. That's nothing." And then one kid is trying to bring like a water bottle in, and they stop him. I don't know if you guys know what like. It's such an ancient video. It hits different to watch. I'm not describing it well. Have you seen TikTok being really quiet about this? I mean, under Ellison, yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised. RDC skit, maybe it was. That sounds about right. Whatever. It's not relevant. Wait. No, it's not this. It's not this. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's continue. I remember you actually did that. That was perfect. I could see it perfectly. Okay, well, thank you. Before the attack, he sent the family members a note apologizing to his parents, colleagues, and others for what he was about to do, but wrote that he did not expect forgiveness. In the note, Allen criticized Trump without mentioning him by name and said he did not intend to target guests and hotel employees. He also wrote about lax security at the hotel, saying he expected more. The senior administration official said that Allen's brother contacted the New London Police Department in Connecticut, where he received the note. The New London Police Department confirmed being contacted at around 10:49 p.m. Saturday, just over 2 hours after the shooting, by an individual who expressed concern about the incident that occurred at the White House Correspondents' dinner earlier in the evening. But I want to skip ahead to... I'm sorry, really quickly. Can someone please tell me what exactly I'm missing here? Acting Attorney General Todd Blanch told NBC News earlier on Sunday that preliminary findings indicate the suspect was targeting administration officials. Blanch said that law enforcement authorities believe he took a train from Los Angeles to D.C. Suspected he traveled by train from LA to Chicago? And then Chicago to DC? That would be like a 40-hour train ride. Amtrak, maybe there's like some Amtrak. In my experience with Amtraks, they fucking suck. And you usually have to do like there's usually like 4 bus rides you have to take to the Amtraks. It's really ass. There's a 43-hour train from LA to Chicago. That's amazing. I'm gonna say it, guys. It's how with all of those weapons, LOL. Dude, there's like fucking cat fur. Let me say something, guys. This does not bode well for leftists. Or more specifically, this does not bode well for people on the left. One sec. Let me just get this fucking cat fur off my face.
On a number of engagements that he'll be doing if this trip goes ahead, and we are having to arrive hours and hours before each engagement to make sure we go through all the security checks. So there is already heavy security around this trip. But what the meetings this afternoon will be doing is looking at each of the engagements, particularly the ones for the King that are going to be public facing, to decide whether any kind of light adjustments need to be made with the programme in light of events last night.
Yeah, and this visit was also always already a little bit controversial, wasn't it, given the events going on in the Middle East, and there were questions over the past few weeks of whether or not this should be going ahead, given the criticism that Donald Trump has laid at the foot of the UK government. Tell us a little bit more about that and how the King is going to navigate this trip.
Yeah, this was already going to be a challenging state visit, and in light of what happened last night, it has got just that bit trickier. But I think both sides at this stage will be very keen for things to continue as planned. They have been planned for months and months, more than a year really, in terms of each of the engagements. And I think everybody involved would like to just push forward with this. I think especially for the White House and the embassy, UK embassy here in Washington, it is a chance to very much put on a show and to try and show that the UK-US relationship, which obviously has been a little bit bumpy in recent months, is very much back on track, using that soft diplomacy that the King can deploy. We know, of course, that the President is a big fan of the British royal family, and that's an incredibly helpful tool for the UK government during this state visit. I think from the White House as well that, you know, in terms of this idea that things must go on, as we heard from the President last night in his news conference, that they will not want to make it look as though they're having to change lots of plans around this state visit. They will want it to continue with the pomp and ceremony involved. So my hunch is things will go ahead as normal, but we will have a final call on that later.
I wonder why he likes the royal family, Pepe La. I wonder what his opinions are about Andrew Pepe La. Okay, continuing with this document. We believe... Okay, he took the train from LA to Chicago, Chicago to Washington, where he checked into the hotel to meet Correspondents' dinner was in at least the last day or two. But I wanted to get to this. Public records and interviews show that Allen was a trained engineer who once interned for NASA, participated in the Nerf Club and Christian Fellowship at his prestigious California University, before more recently developing video games and working as a part-time teacher. Allen attended Pacific Lutheran High School in Gardena, California, where he was known for his inquisitiveness and intellect. A former volleyball teammate told NBC News, while he had not seen Allen recently, he remembered him as a borderline genius and, quote, super stable. Other people study hard, said the ex-teammate who spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear it would affect his career. He didn't have to study. It would just come to him. He was really, really smart. The former teammate said Allen was interested in coding and computers, but he was also a very good writer and seemed to be well-versed in a number of subjects. Stop saying stable genius. Stop. The teammate said that across the board, he was really knowledgeable and curious. The teammate said they lost touch with him once he went off to California Institute of Technology, Caltech. Also, hi, Raiders. Shai Thembo, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome. Yeah, hydration reminder. Dude, I'm so thirsty. I need hydration real bad. The teammate said they lost contact with him once he went off to Caltech, private research university in Pasadena, but expressed surprise that he would be the suspect in Saturday's attack. He was probably one of the most gentle people. He was probably the most gentle person on the team, which makes it even more shocking that he did this, the ex-teammate said. According to his LinkedIn profile, Allen graduated from the California Institute of Technology, commonly known as Caltech, in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. The school confirmed it had a student named Cole Allen who graduated in 2017. While he was a Caltech student, Allen was a member of the winning group of the 31st Annual Mechanical Engineering 72 Design Competition, which involved building robots that could play soccer. In the 2016 competition, his 5-person group, Blitzkrieg Bots, competed against 4 other teams for the Tri-Droid Cup. Months later, Allen was featured in a local newspaper for developing a prototype emergency brake for wheelchairs. The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't lock the chair to the ground. This device that'll prevent the chair from skidding at all. Outside of the classroom, according to his LinkedIn, Allen participated in the Caltech Christian Fellowship and Nerf Club. The LinkedIn profile indicates he obtained his Master's of Science degree in computer science from California State University in May 2025. So it's wild that we're getting to a point where the shooters aren't just depressed incels, but rational actors with prospects. After graduating from Caltech, Allen worked for a year as a mechanical engineer before becoming an independent video game developer and later as a part-time teacher at C2 Education, a company dedicated to helping high schoolers get into college. And I saw some people being like, well, why would you be a teacher, ? Or something like that. I don't remember some earlier person saying that. But first of all, having spoken to teachers, especially part-time teachers, a lot of them do it because they like doing it, which is kind of crazy to say out loud, but actually it is true. Like, talk to any adjunct professor, or honestly, just talk to any TA, and a lot of them will tell you, or talk to part-time professors, and they will tell you they do it for fun. I had so many part-time professors when I went to college that they only taught 2 classes a semester. Maybe some of them only taught 1 class a semester. And they were like, it kind of doesn't pay for shit, but I like doing it. I have an actual job outside of this that I actually get paid for, but I just like doing it because it's enjoyable. That's it. I just like to teach. I like being in a classroom and I like teaching, and it's pretty straightforward and simple, but that's just what I like to do. Which, yeah. My read is also that maybe that he was underemployed. So I think that's a possibility, as much as it is a possibility that the hiring market is fucking shit, dude. I'm sorry, job market is shit. The number of people I know who will send out literally hundreds of resumes that have bachelor's degrees in good fields, in STEM fields. And you will send out literally hundreds of resumes. And you won't even get an interview or a callback. You get 1 callback and it's from some fucking scam company. I work with a few engineering students and half of them were doing master's degrees because they can't get a job. It's actually obscene. I have a law degree. I had to apply to 150 jobs over 6 months to get my most recent job after being laid off. CS Masters here. I took 100. It took 100 plus applications for a single interview. Dealing with this right now because I think everyone expects like, okay, well, if you don't have a degree, if you don't have even an associate's, I guess it makes sense. But I know people who have like bachelor's degrees, like good grades, like 3.7 GPA or whatever, in the field that they're applying for. And they apply to like literally hundreds of jobs and will get like one interview attempt that doesn't pan out. It's like, okay. But also in that vein, I'm not sure how many of you guys saw recent reporting showing that like, if you guys were worried that AI would destroy our jobs, it has, but not for the reasons that you think that it has. It's because companies are using AI to sift through resumes, and the AI chooses resumes that were written by AI. Maybe some of you got lost there. Maybe some of you were worried for a moment about what I just said and the ramifications of it. Maybe some of you are thinking, can I get just like a source on that? Sure, absolutely. Researchers sent the same resume to an AI hiring tool twice. Same qualifications, same experience, same skills. One version was written by a real human being. The other was written by ChatGPT. The AI picked the ChatGPT version 97.6% of the time. A team from the University of Maryland, the National University of Singapore, and Ohio State just published the receipt. They took 2,245 real human written resumes pulled from a professional resume site before ChatGPT existed. So the human writing was actually human. Then they had 7 of the most used AI models in the world rewrite each one. ChatGPT 4.0, 4.0 Mini, Turbo, Llama, Qwen, DeepSeek, Mistral. I don't even know what any of these are. Then they asked each AI to pick the better resume. Every model picked itself. ChatGPT 4.0 hit 97.6%, Llama hit 96.3%, Qwen hit 95.9%, DeepSeek hit 95.5%. The real human almost never won. Then the researchers tried the obvious objection. Maybe the AI is just better at writing. So they had real humans grade the resumes for actual quality and ran the experiment again, controlling for it. The result was worse. Each AI kept picking itself even when the human judges rated the human version written as clearer, more coherent, and more effective, which is not a surprise, by the way, because when human beings read, I don't know how many of you guys are real human beings, but when a real human being, I am not a streamer bot, read something that an AI wrote, I'm like, I hate reading it. I hate it. I hate reading it. It's like, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. They write like they're trying to sell me garbage. I don't know how else to explain it. They write like scammers. And when I read it, I get mad. It's like, can you just get to the point? Can you, I understand all resumes are going to have a little bit of fluff, but get to the fucking point. Oh, fucking true. It's like salesmen speak. Correct. The way that they speak is like, I'm trying to think of like a good example. "100%, it's part of the sycophancy as well. There's one particular tell whenever I'm reading that makes me concerned that something is AI, but I'm like blanking on it. It's like, it's one of those things where you know it when you see it. I thought I saved a post that was like really obscenely annoying to read, and I could tell that it was written by AI. It's not, I'm not finding it immediately right now, but whatever, it's not important. They're really popular. The like AI bots that write like essays are really popular on Twitter. fucking hate AI because I know how to use M dashes, and because of AI, I can no longer use them because everyone says it's AI. I know! As an M dash enjoyer, it pisses me the fuck off that no one gets to use M dashes anymore. So fucking infuriating. The sentences are all the same length. There's something else. I'm just like, nah. I remember one of the tells is like, you didn't just figure this out. You're stumbling on something that's never been seen before. And the writing always feels like I'm being sold garbage. It's not just blank. It's blank. It's like, why? Why? We're talking about AI today. They're trying to build one in my area. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Oddly excessive use of enthusiastic adjectives. Correct. The point being, if you know anything about like speech patterns or like writing styles, and I'm not like a writing expert, I am not a master of the written language, all right? But you can tell different writing styles apart. And it makes me mad when I realize I've just spent a minute reading something that was written by an AI. The researchers tried the obvious objection, made the AIs just better at writing. Okay, they had real humans grade it, and then they had the AIs don't just prefer AI over humans, they prefer themselves over the AIs, the other AIs. DeepSeek picked its own resumes 69% more often than llamas. ChatGPT picked its own 45% more than llamas. Each model can recognize and reward its own dialect. 99% of large companies now run AI on incoming resumes. Most of them use GPT 4o. The paper just proved GPT 4o picks itself 97.6% of the time. If you wrote your own cover letter this week, you did not lose to a better candidate. You just lost to a worse candidate who paid OpenAI $20. Your qualifications do not matter if the AI prefers its own handwriting over yours. So now companies are using AI to sift through resumes that are written by AI and hiring people who are worse for the position because they were too lazy to write their own resumes. All of that's to say, if you are currently trying to apply for a job, consider getting ChatGPT to write it, since it's not going to be read by a human anyways. If it's going to be written and if it's going to be read by ChatGPT anyways, and ChatGPT prefers its own writing, if you're struggling in the job market, this might be why. And I'm not joking. I am not joking. Genuinely, if you are struggling to find work, you might just be getting fucked by the system, in which case I will say, just have ChatGPT rewrite your resume for you, man. Just have it rewrite your resume for you, man. I'm sorry. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. And I think after your 100th job application that has gone nowhere, you got to pay your fucking bills, bro. Like, I'm sorry. This is insane. This is disgusting. I can't believe this, dude. I fear you're kind of spitting even if I don't want to believe it. I don't think that's fair either, because all these jobs tell you to write your own resume and not use ChatGPT. Meanwhile, I've applied to over 1,000 jobs since last year, and I don't have time to write my resume and cover letter by hand because that's a thing too. Every job wants a custom resume and a cover letter. It's just hell. That's amazing. That explains why I wasn't invited to an interview after personally being recommended by one of their best employees, LMAO. You guys feel like you guys feel like you're winning yet? Feel like you're winning yet? Everybody having a good time? Is everybody having a good time? Listen, I will tell you, we probably could never be friends if you use ChatGPT in 2026 to generate 500 photos of like Freerun in like a bikini. We're probably not compatible as friends Because what the fuck are you doing with your life? Holy shit. Jesus Christ. Like, you should break your computer. You should light it on fire. You have failed to use technology well. If you use AI because you've already applied to 2,000 jobs in the past year, like you literally wake up, and I've had these periods of time where I like wake up and I apply for 10 jobs before I was streaming. And then, you wake up the next day and you do the same thing, and the next day and the next day. And you just set like a number every day and you try to get to that number every day. And sometimes you have to write a cover letter, and sometimes you have to do their stupid little fucking like questionnaire. And sometimes you have to apply through their website, and sometimes you have to fucking email it to them and whatever. I do not judge if you're using the AI so that you can actually get a fucking interview. That is actually the only instance, or one of the few instances, where I'm like, I can't look at you and judge you for that. I'm sorry. You're using it so that you can fucking pay your bills. You're not using it because you're too lazy to fucking just like draw something, or try drawing something, or try writing something creatively, or whatever. That's, you know what? If there was an instance that's valid and that's the way to get the resumes today, to get an interview, sure, man. One I was using made me talk to an AI chatbot to start the application. I had to message the AI bot instead of filling out my information, and it fucking sucked. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Can you please link that post? I thought I did. I can link it another few hundred times. For real, I've applied to thousands of jobs. I've gone from living in a homeless shelter to living in a mental health center. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fucking... This goes back to, fucking... no ethical consumption under capitalism. I'm not gonna be like, sweetie, you have an iPhone? Sweetie, you claim you don't like capitalism, and yet you have an iPhone. Bruh. Okay. Denims, I want to work for you. I have a 9.8 out of 10, highest ever top of the hour debate on Hassan Abi's stream, and I'm sometimes funny. Hire me. Dude, you bait the fuck out of Hassan all the time. I'm actually honored to have you here. Most cases with those AI chatbots you have to fight with to apply. You end up having to do the data entry anyways. That's amazing. That's amazing. I am very grateful that I did not have to deal with the hiring market with AI. My last message had M-dashes, Denims. It was from ChatGPT. No! What the fuck? How could you do this to me? Okay, what was I saying? Even if this dynamic didn't exist, why would you try hard to write a good cover letter? Because it might get you a job. Although I will say, I do feel like cover letters are like a fucking... Has anyone... Okay, maybe someone here has worked in hiring. Has anyone ever been moved by a cover letter? I feel like cover letters are like the biggest bullshit waste of fucking time. And nobody actually fucking reads the cover letters. Maybe there are some, maybe some companies do. One of the companies I worked at where I looked at resumes, we never looked at cover letters. I don't know why we had people write cover letters, because we weren't told to look at them. It was like, just check the resume and then we'll see what they're like in the interview. It was like, okay. Why are we making them write this? I don't know. It's just standard practice. Makes the job look more legitimate. I'm like, what is that? I'm tired of this scam economy. I've done hiring for tech, and no, my CTO just threw them out when I gave him the resumes. I'm pretty sure the point of cover letters is literally to weed out people who don't want to write a cover letter. I'm pretty sure that's the point. It's just like a humiliation ritual. What would you be doing if streaming suddenly wasn't possible? Well, I have a degree in accounting, so I'd probably just go get my CPA. And I mean, I don't know. I like being in front of a computer. I like office work. I like my computer time, my chair time. But I'm also like, I don't know. I do like repetitive, mundane activities. Let me close this shit 1 sec. Like MMOs, exactly. Exactly. That photo's so. So I'm sorry, going back to what we were talking about this shooter, the suspected shooter, I guess. Dude, fucking, like, I also wouldn't be surprised if this guy also applied to, like, a billion jobs after he, I don't know, either maybe left or got let go or whatever, and his previous job as a mechanical engineer, and was like, because I know people who have applied in 2026 to hundreds of jobs and have gotten, like, one interview that didn't go anywhere. So I'm not shocked, and I wouldn't be surprised if at least part of this is just like people's material conditions going to shit and then turning to violence because they don't feel like they have another solution. And that's not justification, that's just analysis. In December 2024, C2 Education named Allen its Teacher of the Month. The article continues saying the same year, Allen donated $25 to Act Blue with the memo earmarked for Harris's campaign for president. According to Federal Election Commission filings, in the donation, he listed his occupation as a teacher for C2 Education. According to LinkedIn, he began working as a self-employed indie game developer in September 2018 and appears to have released an atomic fighting game. Okay, I'm sorry. Can I say something really quickly? As someone who knows people who have worked on games, I'm pretty sure the only reason that you put on that you're a self-employed indie game developer is so that there isn't a massive gap in your resume. So that you don't have to deal with the annoying ass question when they're like, "There's a gap in your resume." I'm just curious, why do you have a gap in your resume? Ooh, yeah, we're looking for people who have no gaps in their resume. Ideally, 40 years of experience. Ideally, you have a PhD in sales. Yeah, and we'll pay you $10 an hour. Like, oh, okay. So, has anyone ever qualified for this position ever? Okay. Sure. All right. Continue. I've had employers ask me about my resume gap when it was during COVID layoffs. Like, what do you think? What do you think, huh? I fucking hate boomers who got their job by wearing a tie in the 1980s, talking about resume gaps. It's like, uh-huh. Can you give a rundown of what happened and what you're reading? Was it actually a shooter? Yeah, there was the TLDR for anyone who's missed the news in the past 12 hours. There was a shooter who showed up to the White House why am I blanking on the name? Not conference dinner. Why am I blanking? Correspondents dinner. And he got through security. He had a shotgun, another gun, and some knives. He shot one of the security people, but they're fine because they were wearing a vest. And they've since detained him. And other than that, we know that he's released a manifesto where he talks about why he did what he did. And this is everything else that we know about him. Now, some people a lot of people think it's a false flag because, like, oh, another case of, like, a shooter that didn't get anyone or anything and Trump is fine. And also, here's all this other stuff that's bizarre. Like, I saw, like, one person saying, like, this is the first time Trump has ever gone to a correspondence dinner, ever. And this happens the one time he goes. So, and now immediately everyone was tweeting about, like, we need a better ballroom. We need the ballroom. Okay, and then let's continue here. Talks about the game. Records show Allen purchased a Maverick 12 gauge shotgun in August 2025. Records show he purchased precision semi-auto pistol, 38 pistol in 2023. Senior law enforcement official tells NBC News those were the two weapons. They are covered from Allen Saturday night. In the interview with law enforcement, Allen's sister confirmed he purchased 2 handguns and a shotgun from Cap Tactical Firearms and kept them stored at their parents' home. According to senior administration officials, she added that their parents were unaware Allen was keeping the firearms in the house. Allen regularly went to the shooting range to train with his firearms and was part of a group called the Wide Awakes, the sister said in an interview. According to the official, he also allegedly attended a No Kings anti-Trump protest in California at some point. Jeanine Perot, a U.S. attorney for Washington, said the suspect would be charged with 2 counts of using a firearm during a crime of violence and a second crime of assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. She added that many more charges were expected to be filed. And then we can continue. Okay, so yeah, it looks like that's all of the information that we know about him right now. Caroline Levitt also said that there would be shots fired. Yeah, and like now we're saying like, well, that was just a manner of speech, which it could be, but like what a shit show world that we live in where like it's impossible to tell what is and what is not a false flag. Oh, you missed the most important one. He was definitely, obviously motivated by Hassan. True. You forgot to mention the most important event, Cash getting cucked. Oh, don't worry. Well, we did. It's not mentioned in this article for some reason. Fucking fake news NBC. But yes, correct. Like, I'm sorry. Every time Trump has talked about Iran, it's been such a fucking joke. He started with, we're there for regime change. We're there because of the nukes. We're there for the people. We're there for the oil. We're there because Israel wants us to be there. We're there because of the Strait of Hormuz that we had closed. We're still there for the nukes or something? It's like, got it. Okay. All right. Okay. So everything is just a total lie? Or just everything is a total... Okay, got it. All right. Okay. All right. Being logged right now. We don't even need to be there. Europe is the continent that should actually be there. The European nations should be there, not the United States. We don't even need the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, gas price is going up because oil is a fucking... the price of oil is determined by the global market. Oh, I did see this, but apparently this is AI. Cole Allen had a picture of himself on Instagram in an IDF sweatshirt before his profile got removed. But again, from what I saw, this is actually AI. So I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Is that Shenron in the back? Wait, where? Wait, what? It's just Photoshop, LOL. Why is everything AI these days? Or is it just Photoshopped? Okay, it might just be Photoshopped. I don't know. But, yeah. Oh, the dragon in my room? Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I'm a fake fan. I just found Gold Dragon Google, and then I bought it. It is AI. It's not Photoshopped? Okay. Why did some guy say it's Photoshopped with such confidence then? Well, anywho, who knows? He was a Christian guy, but then again, he didn't say much about that in the manifesto. Well, he kind of did. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. I assume it's sarcasm. Yeah, he is talking about, like, in the manifesto, he talks about how, like, if you think, like, a Christian should just turn the other cheek, you're wrong. Turning the other cheek is for when you're oppressed, not for when other people are oppressed or something like that. So I don't know, but... Did you see Hegseth zooted as fuck? Yes, I fucking saw that shit, dude. Oh, my God. Why would someone lie on the internet? What the heck? What the heck? But breaking news, shooter was a Smash bro and confirmed gamer. He does kind of look like a Smash player. He looks like he'd be into fighting games. I hate to say it, sorry. But anyways, where'd you find the manifesto? I think the Daily Beast. No, the New York Post. It's on the New York Post. If you guys are interested. Like I said, I can't really read these because even if you denounce manifestos, you can't read manifestos on Twitch. So unfortunately, we just did like a highlight reel of what his motives seem to be, or what his motives seem to suggest. And like I said, I mean, we're still gonna see what happens, and we're still gonna get more reporting tomorrow and the next day and everything. But as of right now, we'll probably stream tomorrow. By the way, as of right now, sorry, I should take this off the screen because it's already. I'm pretty sure I've seen reporting that this is a fake image. Yeah, as of right now, this is everything that we know. And again, personally, this guy doesn't come off like a right-winger. Besides being too educated to be a right-winger, because most of the right-wing shooters, they're not educated. Just statistically speaking, if you look at all of them, they don't have master's degrees and have like worked in multiple high technical fields or whatever the fuck. It's unlikely that it's a right-winger. Most likely it's probably a liberal. Most likely, but again, we'll see. We'll see what the reporting looks like in the future. If it's not all a fucking false flag. But yeah, I mean, a lot of right-wingers literally think college is woke Marxist propaganda. Correct. Smash is not a fighting game. Yeah, whatever, fighting game player. Yeah, whatever. No. Actually, it's a fighting game. You guys know like that one IQ meme? IQ. This one? The bell curve meme. I'm gonna say it. I'm fucking saying it, bro. On the left side, Smash is a fighting game. On the right side, Smash is a fighting game. In the middle, it's not a fighting game! Okay, moving on though, guys. I'm gonna head off for today. You guys can believe it. I have to go outside again. Damn my friends for trying to take me outside and explore and enjoy life together, but not relevant. I will be back again tomorrow. We skipped the last 2 Monday streams, which means legally I am obligated to stream tomorrow. Otherwise, I have to change my offline screen to not say we stream sometimes on Monday. So I will be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we could probably do some Resident Evil because again, I'm just busy today. But gaming tomorrow, stream tomorrow. We're gonna have a weird mold Monday fun day. I don't know. But I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Please have a great rest of your day, everybody. Stay hydrated. Tell your homies that you love them. And I will see all of you guys in the next one, everyone. Bye, everybody. Bye.